everybody. What's going on? It's Friday night. It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody can hear us.
Jenny put the damn spooky music on. Spooky holiday music.
Well, yeah, you know how I do. It's a holiday. I got to do like special shit. Just for Halloween and Christmas. I don't usually bother with the other holidays.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
Getting you guys ready for the weekend.
The Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
It's Christmas weekend.
Yeah, I have a feeling Jenny wanted to go out tonight.
Well, I do, but it's like I can't afford it.
Yeah. Money's kind of tight.
Yeah, money's very tight this month. Actually, it was tight last month, but it's even tighter this month. So yeah, we haven't.
Is anything going on? Yeah, this is the worst. Somebody sent us money.
Thank you, Gramthars.
Thanks,
Graham. I like the little snowflakes and everything.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
What was actually going on tonight? Did they say?
I thought it was Memento Mori, but
Man, that would be dead.
I could be wrong.
It's right before Christmas, man. That would be dead.
Yeah, we missed the last one too, which was like 2 weeks ago. They started doing it twice a month, but like last 2 weeks ago, I really didn't have any money. Thank you again, Gramthars. You sent us like $1. Like
give me $1.
Little snowflakes. Hey, it all adds up.
Yeah, you know they take 30% of that.
I mean, wait.
Well, they would take 30%. They'd take 30% if they said it's $2 too, so it wouldn't be the same.
That's what I mean. It's like it doesn't really matter.
The what was I gonna say about? Oh, then the shit. It's getting cold tonight, people. I had to go out there and fucking cover up all the fucking plants.
I mean, it's not as cold as it is. I mean, Gramthars says it's minus 20 in Michigan. It's not getting that cold.
It's gonna be what do you call it? It's gonna for a tropical area. It's gonna be cold here.
Yeah, it happens every now and then.
Yeah.
But it's usually just like one night and then it's warm again. Right now it's 6 p.m. where we are, and it's 57 degrees, at least according to my thing.
Yeah.
So it's going down to like 30s, so all our plants are gonna die.
I got them covered.
All the oranges are gonna die.
I think it's gonna be all right. Cover them up with plastic. Some of them I wrap Christmas lights around. Try to get some heat underneath there. Make like a little greenhouse.
These little smudge pots.
Yeah, around the banana trees that I got growing in there. I put what do you call them? Pillowcases. Put pillowcases and then trash bags over those. Yeah. And then tied it. We'll see. Okay.
Gramthars says, "I'm gonna make
all the damn green peppers I picked because they were about ready anyway."
Well, they I don't really know. Like green peppers can't survive the cold. Is that what it is?
I was doubting it, so I just picked them.
Yeah. Gramthars says, "I'm gonna make it rain tonight, like a guy sitting front row at a strip bar." Hey, that's all right. Ben said, "I saw Christmas Bloody Christmas and it was terrible." Was that the one that I was asking about that was on Shudder? Because I haven't watched that one yet. I really wanted to do more Christmas horror movies. Thank you again, Gramthars. Weird, messages cost at least $2. Do they really? I didn't know that. I've never I don't usually watch other live streams, so so I don't know how that whole situation works. But I've been wanting to watch more Christmas horror, but I just haven't really had time. It's I was planning on doing a video for Scare Salon. It is done. It's just that I haven't. It only just now finished processing. I only just now 20 minutes ago finished editing it, and I haven't made the thumbnail image for it or anything like that. So I'll probably wait till tomorrow to put that one up, even though I was gonna put it up today so I could put a different one up tomorrow. And I still have to finish reading that fucking Christmas horror story book that I was reading and get a review of that put up sometime before Christmas time. But we'll see how that works out. I mean, if I can't do it, I'll have to wait till next year. Because I actually had a message from an author who sent me a couple of his books, and I said that I would review them by the end of the month, and I haven't got to it yet. And they weren't Christmas themed, but I'll probably get to them. Ben said, "Yeah, the one with the killer Santa robot and a loudmouth protagonist." Yeah, I mean, I might still watch it anyway, but now I might wait if you said that. But yeah, the video that I just finished editing was not so much about a movie. It was about all those what do you call them? The Rankin-Bass stop motion Christmas specials from back in the day. Because I rewatched 3 of those. Not all of them, because there was a couple that I didn't really give a shit about, I watched the 3 main ones and did a video about that, which is about like 40 something minutes long, I think. But I'll probably wait till tomorrow to put that up because I didn't finish it quite. But yeah, so kind of it's 29 here, says Murder Hornet. Yeah. It might, I don't know. I didn't see, like, I saw my other little computer over there.
Yeah,
like,
he's in Texas.
Yeah. My other little computer over there, like, it warns you when it's going to freeze. It has like a little, it says temperatures plummet, and then it has a little like a thermometer on it that like is all blue and has snowflakes on it. So I kept seeing that, but then sometimes too that thing will tell me that it's like sleeting and snowing outside, and I'm like, is it? No, it's like 60 something degrees. I'm like, bullshit, it's not snowing. So I don't really know what its deal is. Camp Guy said 1 degree Fahrenheit here this morning. The high for the day was about 5 or 6 degrees in North Georgia mountains. I mean, I had heard that it was going to be like super cold because there's all kind of like really bad storms because everybody's travel plans are being disrupted because they're being snowed in and blizzards and whatnot. So there is that. I did hear about that, but I didn't realize that it was going to be that cold down here. You all right? You're not very talkative.
I'm thinking about cooking.
We only just started. Why are you thinking about cooking?
Because I have to. I got the turkey out. It's thawing. It should be good by the time.
Well, when you're gonna make it Sunday, right?
Yeah, it should be good. The thing is, I can also thaw it in the refrigerator, but I'm trying to figure out, how long should I leave it out before I put it back in the refrigerator? Because it'll kind of slow thaw in the refrigerator. But not having to make the stuffing fucking saves me a lot of time, a lot of effort.
Well, yeah, I kind of feel like that was the most time consuming.
Anyway. Yeah.
I mean, the turkey, once you kind of get it all prepped and stick it in the oven, you just got to like wait for it to be done.
Yeah, you got to keep basting it. Then you got to make turkey gravy.
Well, now see, with the few times that I made turkey for Thanksgiving, like before I met you, I was always told that it's better not to keep opening the oven to baste it because it fucks up your cooking time, like as you keep letting heat out. And I actually didn't open it to baste it. What I did was I just coated all the outside with olive oil. And then, like, I just put it in there, and I didn't open it to baste it. I just left it in there, and it came out perfectly succulent.
Well, I got it's in a big roasting pan, and then I've got aluminum foil over the top of it, too. So it's it's almost like in a Dutch oven type situation. It's hot, you know what I mean? The turkey's hot. So putting it back in, it doesn't lose that much.
Well, I did that too. It's
okay though. They've been good. Shit, how many have I cooked for you?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that it's like if you didn't want to do that extra step, I'm not really sure how much difference it makes. Is what I was getting at. Because I've done it without basting it before, and it turned out perfectly fine.
Good. Well, I only based it like 2 or 3 times, maybe twice. Okay. It's not like I'm doing it all the time.
That's true.
I'm just checking it. When you check it, then I'll baste it. Just again, and then what else is that thinking? Okay, it's gonna be all right. Save some money on the ham. Spiral cut ham was twice the price as just a regular bone-in ham. Christmas ham. So I didn't get spiral cut. I cut it myself.
I mean, really, what's the difference?
It just makes it easier to serve.
It's easier to serve. That's about it.
Easier to serve. You can core that bone out of it and pull it out.
And you gotta carve the turkey anyway, so might as well.
Yeah.
It's not really.
It was like half the price. Big spiral cut was 20-something.
You pay a lot for convenience. I guess.
Big spiral cut was like 20-something bucks. Or and then like just the same ham, not spiral cut, was 10. So I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'll cut it for $10.
Yeah.
What's the point? It even came with the damn sugar sauce. What do you call the shit?
What do you call that shit?
You cover it with brown sugar. The glaze. Yeah, it came with the glaze pack too.
Yeah.
Sugar sauce. Let's call it shit sugar sauce. I'm going to call it shit sugar gravy.
Sugar gravy.
Sugar
gravy. I mean,
gravy.
Technically, that's what it is.
In Mississippi, when I was a kid, I'd get confused as fuck. My grandmother, old Southerners, called spaghetti sauce tomato gravy sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. Just
I don't even think I've ever heard that.
Any kind of Italian tomato sauce, like marinara.
Because they didn't know what that shit was.
Yeah, they would just call it. They would call it. They would call it tomato gravy.
They're not calling them then Italian.
My dad didn't. Yeah, my dad didn't, but my grandmother did. Put the tomato gravy on there. And I was like, what? Tomato sauce? Yeah. Tomato gravy.
Marinara sauce. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. Well, actually, looking back on it, it wasn't really marinara. It was more like bolognese because they had ground up hamburger in it too.
Yeah.
So it did have some gravy in it, some hamburger gravy.
We pretty much always had spaghetti sauce like that.
Yeah. What, with hamburger in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually called bolognese.
Bolognese, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
But,
I'm just saying that was usually how we made it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine with me.
Oh,
although,
yeah.
honestly, I like tomato sauce with just, like, big chunky veggies in it. Like, big chunks of peppers and stuff.
Yeah.
I like it like that.
Then my dad would make red-eye gravy, which had something to do with coffee grounds. But then he also made tomato gravy. But it was nothing to do with tomato sauce. It was just a tomato gravy that you put on grits.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I don't think we ever made that.
Yeah. It was just a red gravy. It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think it was anything special.
Well, see,
I included that in. I think I included.
Well, that's what I was gonna say because when we were working on the cookbook, we were having a discussion about red eye gravy because you were saying that red eye gravy was like that tomato, and I'm like, no, it's not. I
got confused.
It's ham drippings and coffee, like
grounds.
Black coffee is what it is.
Coffee, that's right. I thought it was made with coffee grounds.
No, it's like
just
black coffee
Okay.
and ham drippings, I think, as far
I
as
thought he had coffee grounds inside of a fucking cloth bag or something, was pressing it in the bottom of the pan.
Yeah, I guess you could do it like that too.
Because he got it out of the coffee maker.
Yeah.
You know the drip coffee
maker?
maker?
Yeah, like the old
he took
old
the
grounds for something.
He took the coffee grounds out and put them in a towel, I think. And put some hot water in the top of it and then just twisted it and squeezed it out.
So he was just making coffee.
Making coffee out of the coffee grounds.
Through his dirty ass towel.
Yeah, no, it was clean towel.
I was just kidding.
Clean towel.
Extra flavor.
It was just a regular towel out of the, fucking regular towel that you get for, because a lot of Southern homes don't use, or at least back in the old days, didn't use paper towels. They used kitchen towels. I mean, that's what I use. Just wash them over and over again. He used one of the little kitchen towel, but it was in the morning. I remember we were getting ready. It was like fucking 4:00 in the morning because we were going hunting. So we were gonna eat before the hunt, and the coffee was being made. We drank the coffee, and he was making grits and fucking bacon and shit. And out of that bacon, he grabbed the grounds out of the top of the coffee maker because it had already made the pot of coffee, and then threw that in a towel, and then put hot water in it, squeezed it into a pan, and was dabbing it into the bottom of the pan. And like you said, then he'd put, I think he did the bacon.
Yeah, you put
bacon
like
drippings and
shit
shit like that.
Bacon drippings in it.
And I think some flour or something, and made a gravy out of that, and then threw the grounds away.
Yeah, that's how you make it.
And because nothing was wasted.
You usually
old school
I
Southern
think they
shit.
usually pour it over ham too.
Yeah, it was over ham and grits,
like
and
a ham
bacon
slice
and grits.
and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you pour it.
It was good. It was real good.
I don't love it. It's okay, but
It was good. It gives it kind of a smoky flavor.
Yeah.
But then he would make tomato gravy, and it was kind of like, it was pale red. Think of it like pale. It's just like a pale red gravy. It was good.
Thank you again, Gramthars. When we were talking about turkey, he said, "Be sure to save the neck for your dad."
For the what?
Be sure to save the neck for your dad.
Yeah.
You can mail it to him.
Yeah, mail it to him.
Although I think you use the neck
I use the
for
neck.
gravy.
Using gravy.
I mean,
Use the neck
different
and the gizzard. I don't use the liver really. I've used it before. I mean, I like it, but a lot of other people don't like it.
It's a little strong.
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it.
And then like out of the stock pot that had the celery and everything, I'll take that in the stock pot water and use an immersion blender and fucking blend it and turn it into just like a green water and thicken it. And then I'd have two gravies going, like a vegetable gravy and then a turkey gravy.
Yeah, and they're all good.
Use them both, yeah.
They're all
In
good.
the vegetable gravy, I put a little bit of gizzard.
So it's not vegetable gravy.
Well, yeah, we know. Well, it's got the vegetables in it.
Right, but I'm just saying it's not vegetarian.
It's not vegetarian, no.
Right.
No. And it's got turkey neck meat in it.
Turkey neck meat.
Yeah. And you never finish it all. It yields so much you can't eat it all. But it's easy to make a big amount. It's cheap. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Money.
Next Dimension Media.
What do you
Thanks
say?
for a year of great shows. Like a lot of folks here, it's been a challenging year, but we'll get through it. Happy holidays, Jenny and Tom, and to everyone here in the chat. Thank you so much. That is like so awesome.
I'm gonna talk y'all right to the edge of the damn apocalypse, and then when the power goes out, you're on your own. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see.
Dave is here. Hello and Merry Seasons to all. Thank you very much. Happy holidays. I don't know what we're gonna. Like I said, we're probably just gonna be laying around eating all weekend.
Yeah.
Can't afford to go to a place.
No. Most people are with their families anyway. There's not going to be anybody out.
That's true.
Every time we've done that before, because we've done it before, nobody's out.
Yeah, I feel like other holidays, like people do like to go out, but Christmas, not so much. You don't usually.
New
really
Year's,
see.
they're out.
Well, yeah, everybody goes out on fucking New Year's.
Maybe we'll do New Year's.
Although, Mannequins is doing on New Year's Eve, which is a Saturday night, so you know it's going to be fucking insane.
Yeah, insane.
They're doing, or at least this is the poster they asked me to do, a blackout fetish party.
Okay.
Meaning they're going to turn all the lights out, and Big Tom said he was going to give prizes to the people that wore the least amount of clothes.
Okay, we're going.
And it's supposed to be like really,
cold, though.
really dark in there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's giving prizes. So it's be like freezing their tits off.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna go. So you're gonna get like groped by a bunch of strangers, and you're not gonna be able to see who they are. Which, you know, depending on your proclivities, I'm not really sure how happy you'd be about that. I was like, that sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. And honestly, like, if he leaves it, like, really dark in there, I was thinking while I was making the poster, I'm like, what happens when everybody gets, like, really drunk and they're all, like, falling over and, like, tripping over each other and stuff? And
it's not going to be totally dark in there. It can't be because they have
well, you still have to have, like, the exit lights on.
all the little lights for the little fucking refrigerators and everything. All the little, you know, with the shots.
Yeah.
And then all the special effects lights and everything. You can't. It's not going to be. It's not gonna be totally dark in there. That's just a gimmick.
Zach said he's only turning the lights off so everyone doesn't see how bad everyone else looks naked.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah, it's about half and half.
He says,
"Where younger crowd, man, is looking.
Where will they keep their money?"
Yeah.
Well, you know, women.
Younger crowd's looking good.
Women have we have nature's purse. We have some place to put it. Of course, you won't want to hand it. You want to hand it to other people, but
yeah, nature's purse. Men's got that too. Prison's purse.
We'll see, but women have two. We have two of them, so it's like we have two places to stash.
That's some gross shit, man.
Well, hey, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody brought it up.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do New Year's.
Yeah, we'll see.
New Year's Eve. We'll see where everybody's going. They're probably going to Mannequins.
I mean, and like I said, that's the Saturday night, so I'm not really sure, and I'm sure it's going to be fucking packed because remember we went there. We went there on Halloween, and it was fucking packed. You could barely even move in there.
Yeah, he's going to be making big money.
Yeah. Gramthars said, I'm taking my kids to see Avatar on Christmas. I told them today it will be a visually spectacular movie, but with a dumb plot about tall blue Smurfs.
Yeah.
And they were still like, oh, that sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about it, but, you know.
I heard it's mediocre.
I kind of thought the first one was mediocre.
Yeah, I thought the first one was mediocre.
Like, it was pretty to look at, but I don't really remember that much about it. It was just, it's
impressive
funny because
for the time.
It was, and like the funny thing about it was that it's one of those movies that was like a massive deal at the time. Like everybody saw that shit, but then like 5 years later, like nobody talked about it, which is really weird. Because there's two different kind of movies. There's movies that are kind of like very of the moment, and everybody sees them and it's like ooh. But then there's movies that maybe a lot of people liked them at the time, but then like, you know, 10 years later, everybody still remembers it. 20 years later, everybody still remembers it and talks about it and stuff like that. But Avatar was like not one of those movies.
I thought Battle Angel was much better, and they never did make a sequel to it. They're not interested in making a sequel to Battle Angel. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Wasn't that long ago.
I know. I like that one. And that was David Cameron too. All CG.
James Cameron.
Or James Cameron, I mean.
Yeah.
All CG stuff.
Yeah,
it was much better.
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
That's not better than Avatar?
Well, it's better than Avatar.
That's what I was saying. That was much better than Avatar.
But, you know, it's... I'm not, like I said, I'm not usually into those really big, like, spectacle movies like that so much. It's not usually my favorite thing. You know?
I just thought it was shitty sci-fi. Anyway,
What?
Avatar? Avatar was shitty sci-fi.
Zach says, a man like Tom is there and thinks he's grabbing his drink, except it's not his drink. Yeah, that's... I kind of feel like... I kind of want to go just to see what happens. Like... Just to see, like, I don't know, because I had all kind of, like, scenarios that might occur, like, in that situation.
I get paid right before there, so, yeah, we'll be able to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you always get paid on the first. I get paid, like, sporadically at, like, different times, so it's not like I have a big bulk at the beginning of, like, the month. I'm always just kind of like...
Got paid and got a VA raise.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, okay, it sounds good. They're fucking up the economy, so they said, well, we have to pay these guys a little bit more because all their money's going away to fucking groceries because groceries are so expensive now.
Zach says it took them 35 years to make a sequel to Blade Runner, but they still did it, so don't lose hope yet. Yeah, that's what I mean. And it was still good.
Yeah.
That movie was amazing, so, you know, it can be done. It can be done. Just because something's old and it's just like, well, I mean, look at, I don't know why I just thought of this, but, like, look at, you know, the series Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Which is, like, kind of based on that, you know, the movie from the 80s, and that's fucking great. So, it doesn't really matter how much time has gone by. But what have we been watching and doing, and what were we watching last night? Unsolved Mysteries, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we've been watching, like, the new season of Unsolved Mysteries. They really seem to, I guess maybe this is what people ask for, but they really seem to be, like, leaning into, because they had a UFO episode, and then they had an episode that was about, like the, what do they call them? Like out on the Navajo reservation. And that one was a little bit about UFOs, but then also Bigfoot and also skinwalkers. Like they were just talking about like paranormal, like all kind of paranormal shit that they saw, which I don't know. It's I just kept like wandering in and out of the room, like doing other stuff, like while that one was on.
I didn't see that one
because it wasn't really that interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, but I kind of feel like I like the ones more where they focus. They do kind of like a deep dive on one case, like that's like more interesting. This one was just kind of like more generalized, like oh, and by the way, I went to this house and it was haunted, and yeah, and then some people said they saw like a Bigfoot, and I saw a skinwalker running by my car and shit like that, and I was just kind of like okay, so it didn't really have any focus, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I watched that one and I was like, meh. And then there was that one about that kid that, what was his name? Josh. Fuck. He had like a, Josh Fuck, that was his name. No, he had like a French last name. And he was from Minnesota? Fuck. And he disappeared. Like he went to a poker party one night. And then he just, like, got up, and apparently everyone else at the party, like, thought he was just going to the bathroom or some shit. And then he just, like, went, apparently, like, back to his apartment, which was just, like, less than a quarter mile away, like, across campus. It was on, like, a religious college, like, where he went. And somewhere between this guy's house and his apartment, like, he just vanished, and they have no fucking idea where he went to.
Yeah, John, it's the same music. And no host, which I think it's good, because you're not going to be able to replace... Oh, what's his name?
Robert Stack, yeah.
So there's no host at all. They just got the format to where it just goes through the case, and they play that kind of spooky music. But it sounds real good. But I thought that was a great. You don't need a host.
And they
Not
probably
anymore.
knew that too.
Yeah.
They just said, that was very much of the time and place, and it's like you can't really beat. Him being on the show, and it's like if anybody else was just going to pale in comparison,
and it would just be a filler to have somebody a host it just fills up time. That was a TV thing, and it was a TV thing of the era.
Right.
You don't need that nowadays. So let Robert Stack's material rest. It's fucking iconic. Just but you got it's a good show. The edit's really good. The cases that they show are pretty interesting. The way they show them. It is a little bit generic. Other shows kind of do that same format, but they're doing it because it works. And then they have the Unsolved Mysteries branding with the fucking theme song and shit going through. So it's good, real good. I like it. And that UFO episode, Jenny didn't like UFO episodes, but the UFO case that they talked about was a real good one. It's called Something in the Sky.
I mean, it was interesting.
Real good,
It was interesting, like, for UFO stuff, but it was just, I was so tired. I was like, I fell asleep sitting up, like, while I was watching. I was like,
it was about something that happened in the 90s up near Michigan. A radar operator saw a damn blip on the screen and tracked it for several hours out over Lake Michigan. And a bunch of people were calling the police. There was a big wave of sightings that night. Them seeing these lights in the sky, just single lights, and they would join together and they'd break apart. Some people actually saw the craft, but the woman said it was a smooth cylinder, but they showed a disc. So maybe she didn't know what a cylinder was, or what. I don't know if they took liberties or what. But it wasn't solid per se. It was merging together with other lights, and then they'd break apart and they'd go around in patterns. And we're not talking. Everybody that saw it said it was trying to be seen. You know, it wasn't elusive. It was up there for hours. Evidently, cops were seeing it. Cops were calling in and says, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a bunch of lights. And they were up around 6,000 feet. Some of them were lower. And it went out over the down water. And the radar operator, he confirmed that it was over Lake Michigan, or I think it was Lake Michigan, in the place where it wasn't frozen over, about 6,000 feet above the surface, according to the radar. Breaking apart, making patterns, and then going back together. And it was there for several hours. And it was stationary for a long time. And during that time, one of the witnesses on the ground said it was pulling water up out of the ground in like a fucking waterfall that was reversed, going all the way up about 6,000 feet into that craft. And it was sucking water for like a long time. And it wasn't a very big craft, so that's pretty damn mysterious. It was pulling water up in a tractor beam. You tell me, I don't know. What does it need fresh water for? Or, you know.
Maybe
they saw it.
Maybe they polluted all their water on whatever planet they were from.
And that thing evidently wasn't that big. I mean, how much water did it take? Is it bigger on the inside than it is on the outside? Whatever it is, it's not a machine, I don't think. Or a lot of it's in another dimension. Weird.
Tom Sykes says, Tom and Jenny, which of the two films would you rather watch? Dante's Peak or Volcano, both from 1997?
Never seen them.
That's right. There's like, I think I've seen one of them, but I can't remember which one it was. They're probably like either one. They're probably both fine. I kind of feel like that was, there was all those two volcano movies came out the same year. I kind of feel like there was a little mini boomlet of like disaster movies like in the 90s. Gramthars says some other movies that were once a big deal but then everyone forgot about them. Crash, not the David Cronenberg one, the other one with the ensemble cast. I think I saw that in the theater and I remember kind of liking it, but I kind of forgot about it after. The Island, Dirty Dancing, I don't know about that because I think Dirty Dancing is still pretty iconic. And honestly, if you've seen that show on Netflix, The Movies That Made Us, they did a whole episode about Dirty Dancing, about how that's still like a big thing. So I think that's the only one I'd probably argue with. And anything with Adam Sandler. Yeah, any of his, I guess people still talk about, do they still talk about some of his stuff? Like, I don't know, I haven't seen any of them.
Man, his
like
best
The
one
Waterboy and shit like that.
I like Waterboy. Waterboy was okay. Far as I
don't really like that kind of like really juvenile humor like that.
That was his best of the juvenile.
But like
shit,
a lot of comedians like that, like him and Jim Carrey and stuff like that, when they give them a dramatic role, they can actually usually really act. Yeah, which is crazy.
That one movie that he was in, he played that Jewish gangster. That was a fucking
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
That was a great fucking movie.
It's a fucking masterpiece. Yeah.
That was one of them. That movie made me like more anxious than maybe any other movie that I've ever seen, except maybe Hereditary.
Yeah, and that was based on a real story. Dude that wrote the story was his son.
Well, like I said, he had done some other kind of more dramatic roles too, like in Spanglish and stuff like that, and so he can act. Same thing with Jim Carrey. I can't stand like his Jim Carrey shtick, like, hey, I'm talking out of my butthole. I'm like, okay, great. That's like not funny.
His cocaine driven.
It's just like it's too much. I'm just like fucking dial it back a little bit. But when they give him a dramatic role, like he was fucking great in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He was fucking fantastic in that. So, and obviously, what's the fucking The Truman Show? He was great in that too. Zach said it's always so weird seeing Robert Stack in old movies, and you realize he was kind of a looker back in the day. He was actually. He was like a really good looking dude. John Smith said, when I was a kid, I really loved the ghost segments on Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, I like the ghost segments too. I mean, the true crime ones are my favorite, but the ghost ones are good too. The true crime ones were always creepy too. I remember one about someone that found a creepy Polaroid of kidnapped victims. That was probably the Tara Calico case, because I think that was like a big thing about.
Well, they had the 3 kids side by side.
Well, it wasn't 3. It was an older girl and like a little boy.
Yeah.
And they found like a Polaroid in a convenience store parking lot, I want to say.
Yeah.
I still don't think they've solved that. Right. You know that?
But they knew
I think we talked about it on that show.
They knew who that is, though, right? They knew who those people were.
Well, I don't know if they know who the boy is.
Okay, but they knew who the girl was?
Unless I'm remembering it wrong. Yeah. But I thought that had to do with like the Tara Calico case. And actually they don't know if that's her or not. I think that was the thing, is that they found that, and there was a girl named Tara Calico that's been missing and they don't know where she is. And the girl in the picture kind of looks like her, but they're not entirely sure if it's her or not. Maybe that's what I'm like. Remember. Okay. Because I've read about so many cases that it's like I get them mixed up sometimes. But I do remember that detail, and I remember that picture because it's pretty famous. Camp Guy said, I used to not believe in any UFO stuff, but now the Tic Tac stuff with the Navy and some of their other pictures and video is pretty interesting.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The videos that they're showing, that they've released, are not very good. All right? They look good on the surface, but then when you see a deeper analysis of them, they're misidentification. Like, okay, here's one of the main ones. The guys are trying to get a lock on what looks like a small object moving at a very high rate of speed over the top of the water. And he's able to get a fucking lock on it. He goes, whoa, I got it. And they're going, yeah, look at that thing. Boy, it's moving. The thing is that it's not actually moving fast at all. And it's not anywhere near the water. It's an effect called parallax. If you have a rifle scope, and you're in, say, like a helicopter with the doors open, and you point that rifle out of the door of that helicopter at something halfway between you and the ground. Let's say it's just a paper bag blowing in the wind. And you put that rifle scope on it, and you're trying to track it as the chopper is passing it. Behind it, in the scope, you're going to see the ground moving by real fast. And it's going to look like that object is fucking close to the ground, moving real fast, but it's not. You're passing it. And because you're tracking it through that scope, the image of the ground behind that object you're looking at it looks like it's moving by fast because it's an effect called parallax. You can look up a better description than I can explain. You're looking through a tube and you're trying to track something as you're passing it, and behind it you see the ground moving like that. It gives the illusion that the object's moving real fast. It isn't. So what they locked onto, if you ask me, was a paper bag. It was something just blowing in the wind.
Wouldn't that be funny if all this brouhaha was about that? It's some like plastic Walmart bag.
It was like a plastic Walmart bag or something like that they saw it, or a balloon or something, and they saw it and they go, what is that? And they tried to lock on the damn it's like a camera on a pintle. It's to help identify incoming targets and fucking control your missiles and shit, you know. I don't know the name of that stuff, but they update it all the time. So they were able to get a lock on that thing optically, and it just gave that parallax effect. I think it was mostly standing still. I think it was just a plastic bag, and it wasn't anywhere near the surface of the water. It was probably up thousands of feet in the air. And then so they show that one. Then they show another one where it looks like an object, and it's kind of like looks like a light. Looks like a bright light in the shape of, I don't know, kind of like a disc or something. And as they turn, it turns in the opposite direction. that looks like some kind of a glare off an object and a camera on the end of a pintle having a problem. It looks like a mechanical problem with the tracking on that camera. Because that camera's in a pod out on a wing trying to look through a little glass nose cone. And at certain angles, it kind of can't, it has a problem tracking things, you know what I mean? Because it can spin this way and it can move this way. And it's in that little nose cone. So I didn't buy it. It was some kind of a reflection or some kind of mechanical problem. But according to people who've seen these things and were involved in these cases, the videos that they're showing the public is not the good stuff. That the good stuff they haven't released. They're showing you the shitty stuff. The good stuff's classified. Because when they were doing the Tic Tac stuff, they did get photos of it. But according to those pilots, the good shit was never released. They kept it. Because the one that they're showing, every time they start talking about the Tic Tac UFO, where he turns and that thing turns, and it's just kind of a crappy video. That's not from the guys who saw the Tic Tac in the first time. That was for the second group of guys that came and thought that they saw something near a waypoint. They thought they saw that. But I'm not convinced that's the same object. But the intelligence agencies are convinced that they said, yeah, there are UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. They don't think they're man-made. They got classified data and they've got classified video, but it's not released. That's all I can say. You tell me what it is. I don't know. They know there's something up, but I don't think they know anything about it. This is the thing is that a lot of people believe in this Roswell stuff, know that they have downed craft, and I don't fucking buy that, not one bit. I think that they don't know what it is. That's what I think.
Richard Brown said, "Have you ever seen the British TV series Strange But True?" I think I have, but it's been a while. Zach says, "I love Dante's Peak, but man, is Brosnan an up and down actor. In some things he's really great, in others he's really terrible. Same with Sharon Stone." Yeah, I've noticed. I haven't noticed that about Pierce Brosnan because I haven't seen him in enough things, but I have noticed that about Sharon Stone, though. Karen Gamble said, "Hi guys, happy Christmas Eve. I just watched Legend with Tom Hardy." Yeah, that's a great fucking movie. Yeah. And Christmas Eve. Back to you. Happy Christmas Eve. Zach says, "I still say Sharon Stone's best movies are The First Basic Instinct and Casino." Man, Casino is such a good movie. I need to rewatch that one again. I remember really liking that. Also, Tom Sykes says Dante's Peak, the movie, mentions the Mammoth Mountain volcano. So there you go. I don't remember if I've seen that one. Maybe I saw Volcano. I don't know. Zach says, "It's also weird," when we were talking about comedic actors being good at drama, "it's also weird how, conversely, a lot of dramatic actors usually aren't that great at comedy." Yeah, it doesn't usually work the other way, does it? Sometimes it does, but I wonder why that is. That's very interesting.
Yeah, Camp Guy says that thing could have been a sundog, which is a fucking reflection inside the camp. That's what I kind of think that was, like a sundog, and it had something to do with the way that camera moved inside that pintle in there, and the sundog kind of rotates and it's opposite the way the camera moves. He says that when he turns that jet and then that image turns exactly at the same amount of degrees, at the same rate, that means it's some kind of reflection that they're showing.
Thank you, Camp Guy.
Thanks, Camp Guy.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was Elvis saying thank you very much.
Yeah, we know. Tom Sykes says, "The 2018 film, The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, starring Sam Elliott, is a pretty good flick." I've been wanting to watch that because how could you not want to watch something with a great title like that? I mean, yeah, Sharon Stone was okay in Total Recall. Yeah, I remember her being okay in that. But, I
just depended on how much cocaine you gave her.
Yeah, maybe that's what the measurement is.
A lot of it is edit. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've said this before, but editors are kind of like the unsung heroes or villains of Hollywood, right, because they can really make or break a movie.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Paxton in Aliens comes off as a fucking great character in most edits, but you see deleted stuff or extended edits of Aliens that has more of fucking Bill Paxton's playing that colonial marine. He's annoying. He's like, man, he's terrible at it. But in your average theatrical cut, he's great because a lot of his bad shit was cut out.
Yeah, because they were like, well, there's a certain percentage of that character that most people are going to be able to take.
Yeah.
So we have to know. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Too much of his ass in there.
Right. That's what I mean. And it's like the thing about an editor is they always have to know that's a real talent in itself. I don't know if I'd be very good at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, all this shit. Game over, man. I mean, that was fucking great. And it's just some of the shit that he does in the theatrical cut, fucking great. But you see the long cuts of him, you're like, man, get that motherfucker out of here. He's annoying. He's real annoying.
Well, any character that's real over the top like that is going to grate on people after a while. So you have to really know when to rein that in.
Yeah, like when he's in the drop craft talking to Ripley, we got the plasma cannons, we got this and that, we're here to be. He gives this big long spiel to Ripley about how they're going to protect her from the aliens. And he does a good performance. I guess you say it's a good performance, but there's too much of it. Yeah, there's too much of him in.
Well, it's too big of a character.
Right.
You really, and if you have too much of that in a movie, it really steals the spotlight from the other characters.
Yeah, and it ends up being more kind of an annoying, distractive kind of a character. So editing him down made him look fucking much better as an actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's why in a lot of ways I don't necessarily. I mean, there are exceptions to this rule, of course, but I don't necessarily like to shit on actors for ruining a movie because it's not usually. I mean, sometimes it is pretty clearly, but a lot of times, because the thing about it is that most movies are not shot in sequence, and so. They kind of just do it in little bits and starts and then it's edited together later. So it's like a lot of times they don't really know how the final, because it's pretty common for actors to be like, man, I thought this was going to be a great movie. And then I saw the final cut and I was like, what the fuck? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember shooting all those scenes, but when you put them in that order and all this other kind of shit, it looks like a big flaming pile of dog shit. You know what I mean? So it does actually really make a difference, how it's put together.
Yeah, but had you seen stuff of Sharon Stone that got cut out of Total Recall, it was probably fucking a flaming pile of shit. Less is more. They probably edited her down into a tight character that fucking made sense, and it was all her best takes, and there it is. You remembered it. You say, oh, she was great in that movie. Editor probably had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, like I said, editors, I think they don't get enough credit.
No. Star Wars.
Well, I think somebody mentioned that.
Saved an edit.
Yeah.
That would have been a piece of shit.
Well, that's probably the most famous one that was
And it was going to have a disco soundtrack.
I had heard that, yeah.
It's going to be disco. And then they said...
Please tell me somebody did a fan edit like that on YouTube. There has to be. Everybody's done everything on the internet somewhere.
It'll be disco, and then later on they were like, no, we're going to have to give this thing a fucking classical edit. And then it all came together.
I can imagine Chewbacca walking down through the fucking Millennium Falcon while Coots and Bee Gees were playing or something. That'd be kind of awesome.
Well, it was 1977. It made sense. It was 1977 and it was sci-fi. It made sense that it would be disco because it had to be cool and kind of futuristic. Going classical, that's going backwards. But
because that's old people shit.
I guess the old people movie. But they knew it. But I'm going to give it to the British, man. Those British studios knew what the fuck they were doing. And the dudes that saved that movie and the dudes that built all the fucking sets and the costumes. They're like, well, this is Star Wars? Well, wait a minute, hold on. We got the Empire. We got a rebellion. We got this and that. This is the war we grew up with. We're talking about the 30s and the 40s. So they, because these are World War II veterans that are doing this. So we're going to take it back to an old World War II propaganda movie. So they went that way, and then it worked.
Yeah, it totally did.
And that's because
that was the absolutely right decision.
And that set the tone for that entire franchise. And when you get away from that, you're fucking up Star Wars. You're just making Star Wars fan fiction. Okay, when you start getting away from 1930s, 1940s, that's what you're talking about. Even the fucking Mandalorian, that's kind of 30s and 40s. The tone and Old West. It's Old West samurai movies.
Well, I've argued that if you're the thing is, if you're trying to make a movie, I think this is why a lot of people, why there are certain movies that don't age very well. If you're trying to make something of the moment, I think we discussed this a little bit when we were talking about that Hammer movie, Dracula 80, 1972.
Yeah.
Where they were trying to make everything just, like, very hip and modern to that time period.
Yeah.
Problem is, like, yeah, it might be cool for, like, a few months, like,
Yeah.
when you do that. But then, like, 10 years from now, everybody's going to, like, watch that and be like, what the fuck is this nonsense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's much better to make something that's, like, you take some, like, shit from old stuff, because then it won't, like, age.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Use classic and traditional stuff.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah, that's already nostalgic in a way.
Yeah, because then it won't date or
age.
it won't seem like...
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like when you see all those movies in the 80s where they made everybody have, like, breakdancing and all that kind of stuff in it. It's like now they just seem ridiculous.
Well, you can look at fucking movies that are done right, or all the ones that fucking I grew up with that fucking... They all stuck. They all fucking held up. And you can show them to young people today that they've never seen them and go, man, that's the best movie I've ever seen. And that's going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, that first Raiders of the Lost Ark. They're all good, but the first one is timeless. Okay, and it's because it's set in another time, set in the 30s. You know?
Yeah, because it was old when it was
came out.
made. Right.
Yeah,
it was homaging and much older.
An old serial. And it still holds up, say, because it's got a lot of timeless stuff in it. Predator, all right. Everybody loves Predator. What's funny is that if you watch reaction videos, which I study that on YouTube, the people that are reacting, people that have never seen it, disproportionately, women love fucking Predator. And the girls are like, I didn't think I was gonna like this movie. This is a great movie, you know, fucking because these are younger women, and it's because that's a good story. And people would say it's a very macho, very masculine script. All right. And, you know, it's fucking written by fucking soldiers and shit and fucking performed by soldiers. Most of them guys starring in that movie had military backgrounds. But it appealed to women, too. There was women characters in there. Okay, remember the rebel soldier?
Yeah.
And fucking, in a way, it kind of had elements of female fantasy in there. You know, the fucking scary, big, hot dudes. You get captured by them, but then it turns out you're scared of them. But then it turns out they're your friends. They're protecting you. You know what I mean? And then you come back and save the main alpha dude in the helicopter.
Yeah.
So there is a female. So it's not as fucking male driven as you think. It's just,
a lot of that stuff isn't as cut and dried.
It's not as cut and
because
dried.
I kind of feel like until probably the 90s, maybe later, I kind of feel like there was an erroneous perception that women didn't like horror, for example. And I think that's bullshit. I think it was always kind of like almost half and half, or maybe like a little bit less than half for women. But there's always been women that were into horror. Yeah. And it's like, so I don't really get where they always like thought that they just marketed it toward dudes, because it's like there's a lot of women out there that like that shit too. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not as cut and dried as that.
Well, it's just good story. You know?
Yeah, if you have a good story and characters that you care about, then it doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, or whatever. It's like everybody likes that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then there's the thing about it too, is that some things that are marketed to women, like womany movies, that I can't fucking stand. I do not like rom-coms. I mean, like I said, I
like that one though.
I've seen ones that I've liked, because I knew that you were going to say that. Yeah. I've seen ones that I've liked. I'm not saying that I hate them across the board. I'll watch anything if it's good. You know what I mean? I don't really have a thing about like I'm not going to watch that genre.
We saw this rom-com with that little fat girl in there, and fucking I've laughed through the whole fucking thing. I like that movie. We saw it in the theater. What was it called? It was making fun of rom-coms.
Yeah, like gently. It wasn't like mean-spirited, but it was like it was parodying.
But it was a great movie. It was feeling good. I was like, man, that was a refreshing movie.
It was really funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. The Craft, almost all female leads, and I thought The Craft was great when it came out.
Oh, that's a horror movie. That's not a rom-com.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about female-oriented movies.
Oh, I was talking about rom-coms.
No, fucking Craft, I believe, was for a female audience. But I liked that movie. It was good. Yeah. What else is for a female audience that I thought was good?
I don't know. Maybe Ginger Snaps. I'm talking about other horror movies.
Ginger Snaps was good.
Ginger Snaps is a great fucking movie. And I'm surprised when Ginger Snaps came out. I think I mentioned this on our review of it that we did a long time ago. I was like, I'm amazed that I don't think up until Ginger Snaps came out, nobody that made a werewolf movie had ever thought to link werewolves and menstruation before. Yeah, and I was just like, duh. It seems like so obvious in retrospect, but like that was like the first big movie to do it.
Another one that holds up has been that young people watch it and they go, man, that was a badass flick. And that was the Thing. They like that one. And that's all dudes. Okay.
I don't think I've ever met a single person that didn't like The Thing.
And the female reaction's really good. They're like, man, that was a great movie, you know. Fucking, it's just a weird fucking movie. It was even better when it was new and you saw it on the big screen and you'd never seen anything like that before. That bitch was fucking, man.
I kind of wonder sometimes. I don't know if this is true. It's probably not as true as it maybe it used to be when I was growing up. But I do kind of feel like maybe... I feel like it's harder for a dude to watch a movie that's all female characters and relate to it than it is for a woman to watch a movie with all male characters. Because normally, like, you know, because we see movies with mostly male characters, like, all the time, so it's not really that big of a deal. We've just kind of gotten used to it. And we can, like, relate. If it's a man, it's a woman, it doesn't really matter. But I kind of feel like sometimes, like, dudes have a harder time. Like, it's like, I don't want to see a movie that, like, that's all woman characters. Like, that, it's almost kind of like a turnoff. You know what I mean?
I'm going to say no.
I don't know if that's true. I'm just wondering.
It's going to depend on what the topic is.
That's true.
And what the story is. Like, we saw that Suspiria, all right? I thought that with all those witches.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. You know, I think there was problems with the script, though. It was a little long, and it was real kind of convoluted. But I thought the characters were interesting.
Yeah.
You know, talking about the new Suspiria.
Yeah. Not the original.
No, not the original. The new Suspiria needed to be cleaned up. I really wanted to like that movie because it did have a lot of interesting characters in it. But it had kind of a convoluted script. It wasn't streamlined enough for me. And then by the time the grand finale happened, I was kind of taken out of it. When that damn witch came out and killed all the other ones. Yeah. That demon came out. Mm-hmm. Thought that was pretty cool. But that was the only one that's all female that I was thinking of. I don't think there was any men in that one.
Yeah, well, there was, but
when you say all
the male character, I think, was played by a woman. Although you didn't know that until the end.
When you're talking about all female, I can't even really think of all female.
There's not. Well, you know what's crazy is there's not many. Yeah. Like, you can think of a lot of movies that had all dude characters. No, I mean, you can think of a lot of movies that had almost all or majority like dude characters, and like the women were just either not there or were just like tiny characters. But when it's really weird, it's just kind of like, you know, like back in the old days, like when you had a band, like you have a band, right, and it's all dudes. If you had a band that was like had one woman in it or was all women, that was the first thing everybody would mention about it. Whereas, like, if the band was all dudes, nobody would even
because that was kind of
occur to them to mention it. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because they had to tour.
So I kind of feel like it's the same thing with movies. Like, if you have a movie that, like The Thing, or, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something else, like The Expendables or something like that, that's like 99% dudes characters.
Yeah.
Nobody really comments that much about it. But if you have a movie that's all female characters, then everybody like has something to say about it, which is interesting. You know, I just find that really interesting.
You're talking about bands, right?
No, I said movies.
Movies. Well, there's just not that many of them that was made. I guess there aren't as many situations where it's just all women.
Well,
there's a lot of situations where for a movie where it's all guys. You know what I mean? Military movies, World War II. It's gonna be all guys pretty much. Dudes on a damn spaceship or underneath the bottom of the ocean. It's gonna be guys. You know, that's a good setting for a story. Gladiators, even though they had female gladiators, but
they did. Yeah.
Most are gonna be fucking guys. All right. It's just the way it is. If it's all female, then where is this taking place? A girls' school? They have those. Movies with a lot of porn movies, just all fucking women.
But that's what I was going to say. I mean, implicit in that is the idea that anywhere that a movie that realistically had all female characters was set would not be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Although, didn't everybody really get into that TV show, Orange is the New Black? And that was set in a women's prison. So,
you have to write it the right way, and you have to, you know what I mean? And there's
well, that's
people that
true
aren't
of
right.
anything, because to be honest, I've seen lots of movies with male characters, female characters, and a mixture, and like, you know, some of them are just not good, and it doesn't have anything to do whether it's all dude or it's all women or not. It's like that the stories aren't good.
You can't say, this is gonna be an all-female movie, and that's gonna make it good. No.
Well, being a good movie will.
It's got to be a good movie before it's good. You know what I mean? That's part of the problem with that Hollywood does. Well, we're going to have a bunch of diversity, and it'll be good. No, it's got to be a good movie. And then, you know what I mean? And then the diversity adds to... Like, look, The Predator was diverse. That was a diverse cast. But you didn't think of it at the time. It was just natural because it was a good movie. That's the way an elite military unit in real life looks. It's... white guys, Hispanic guys, and black guys. That's what it looks like. That's not. So it didn't feel artificial. Everything about it felt natural. It felt normal. You know. If you fucking start from some kind of weird artificial mindset of like, this is going to be a movie and it's going to be all female because that will make it good. No, it won't work. It has to be a good movie first.
Well, you have to have a justification for
why it's all female,
whatever it is that you're doing.
Right.
I mean, whatever it is, like whether the characters, like whatever they are, like even whatever job they have or whatever, everything just has to make sense, because otherwise, I mean, at least in context of like the universe that you're creating, because otherwise people are going to be taken out of it, and it's going to make people like think of, you have to make everything just seem like it's...
I could make a badass all female movie.
Well, let's talk about a badass all female movie, The Descent.
Yeah, that was good. I could even top that one. I could make a movie where it's Mad Max. Okay? All the men have died. There aren't any men. A virus killed them all. There's only women. All right. What would happen then? And then there's a couple dudes that survived.
Sure would be quiet around here, that's for sure.
Then there'd be like a couple dudes that survived, all right? And the women are fighting over these fucking dudes.
I'm already not believing that.
I can picture that.
The women would not be fighting over them.
I think that. Well, I think the fucking. Well, they wouldn't. Women want children. A lot of them would want children, and then the human race would be dying. See, so they become real high priority to have these men. And maybe you got like 10
I saw a movie like that.
And then you'd have, most women would be like in these lesbian relationships, but they were kind of like forced into it. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't any other choice. So then like the fucking few dudes that were surviving would be like superstars, but they'd have to keep them in a maximum security kind of facility to like keep them safe. All right? Because they'd be fucking rare. Imagine that.
I feel like I've seen something like that.
And then it would be like fucking, their society would be insane. Okay? I don't think it would work out too well. It would just be one gender. And I think it would be like prison. All right? It'd be like a women's prison. And they'd be doing shit like killing each other. Be a bunch of crime. I don't think it'd be peaceful. I think it'd be crazy. It would just change a different dynamic. I think it would just change a different dynamic.
I don't think it would
be crazy.
I don't think it would be the same. Now, okay, I kind of feel like if all the women on Earth died off, I think all the men on Earth would probably kill each other within a year. I think it would just be completely insane.
It might. They'd start fighting over boys, probably. A lot of them.
Well, I mean, they would probably start fighting over everything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the other way around, like if all the men died off and then there was only women left, I'm not sure it would play. I'm not saying it would be good. I'm just saying I don't think it would play out the same way. I don't think it would play out the same way. You know?
You'd be dealing with a fucking collapsing civilization because its population would be collapsing.
But that's a whole other issue. That doesn't really...
There wouldn't be... Every year there'd be fewer and fewer people. And you wouldn't be able to maintain basic services eventually. It would end up being like Mad Max. It would be the end of the world. It'd be the apocalypse. You couldn't keep the human species alive. So people would start doing fucking stupid shit. They'd be doing crazy because there wouldn't be a future. It just wouldn't, you know. The future would only be as long as the youngest person, the youngest male that was around, you know. And so a human lifetime.
Do you remember that episode of Masters of Horror that was called The Screwfly Solution?
My favorite one.
That was your favorite one.
My favorite one.
Yeah, it was basically about it was like a virus that caused
aliens put a virus on the Earth.
That put a virus on the Earth, and like it made the men like go crazy and like start killing the women. Like it made them like super misogynistic.
It made them confuse sexual attraction with fucking homicide. So they just killed
So
women.
like they basically all became like serial killers. They all
killers.
had like just shit that was wrong with their brains that's wrong with serial killer brains.
And
where they like equate sex and violence.
Yeah, and dudes are getting fucking found guilty or arrested, and then the cops are letting them go because they feel the same way about it. They're like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, kill them bitches.
Yeah, kill them. Yeah. It's a fucking spooky fucking episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's an interesting thing to kind of think about. I'm really behind on the comments, so I apologize. Donald Taylor says Paxton killed it. Bill Paxton killed it with frailty. Yeah. That's a great fucking movie.
I talk about it all the
He
time.
directed that too.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Merry Christmas, guys.
And
Merry
one of the best
Christmas to you
Christian
as
movies.
well.
I've said it many times. That's one of the best Christian movies. That one and Noah. But
Yeah,
it's also a
I mean,
Jewish
because normally, and I've said this before, like normally when you have the trope, and you don't see this that often, but when you have the trope in horror where it's like, oh, the religious people were right all along, you know, usually that kind of like pisses me off. But in that case, it absolutely did not, because I think they just they nailed that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Tom Sykes said Bill Paxton was in the decent horror thriller slasher film Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, which is an underrated gem. I have actually been I haven't seen it, but I've been wanting to see it. Like, I think Shudder added it not too long ago, and I don't know if it's still on there or not. But I remember when they added it, I was like, oh shit, I gotta watch that. And then I put it on my list, and then I never got to watch it. John Smith said there is a Star Wars disco album out. Okay, now I gotta have that. Please tell me somebody put that on YouTube, because I want to hear it. Let's see. Master and Commander. And they were talking about Hell Comes to Frogtown. Yeah, I wanted to do that. That had Rowdy Roddy Piper in it. You didn't see that, did you?
Which one?
Hell Comes to Frogtown?
Mm-mm. Is it good?
It's all right. If you like Rowdy Roddy Piper.
I liked him in They
Live.
Live. Yeah, he did a great job in They Live. For a dude who's not an actor. That was a great movie.
Yeah.
And I liked the script. Yeah. Keith David fucking knocked it out of the park, too.
Mm-hmm.
One of the longest fight scenes in fucking history. Tried to get him to fucking put the damn glasses on.
Yeah.
To see who the enemy was.
Wait, I missed something in here that sounded like funny. The Expendable Golden Girls. Wait, what?
Somebody talking about Coyote Ugly. I remember that. That's an all-female movie. I remember that one being good, too, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
I don't remember liking that, but I haven't seen it in a very long time.
I remember being okay.
I don't remember it.
It was kind of like just a movie of its time. You know, I think even fucking Tom Cruise made a bartender movie around that same time.
Yeah, it was called Cocktail.
Yeah.
And he was
That's when bartenders.
And he was being like smug, and I wanted to smack him,
Yeah.
just like most of the movies that he's in.
Yeah. That's his thing, though.
I know.
That's his thing.
That's what I said. Just like every other movie he's in, I want to like punch him right in the mouth.
Makes you want to see that movie, that fucking where he was the assassin again. What was the name of that one?
Collateral.
Collateral. Yeah, I want to see that one again.
You should probably see Magnolia. I keep telling you that every time, because anytime he
Louis
plays,
sent me Collateral. I want to see
anytime he plays an asshole, he's good.
Yeah.
Because that's probably like, I don't know, but it's probably like closer to his actual.
Man, I liked Oblivion. Okay.
Yeah, I liked that too.
Yeah, Tom Cruise in Oblivion. Jenny bagging on Tom Cruise.
Hey, I'm allowed to have an opinion.
I'm gonna fucking defend Tom, my namesake. I'm gonna defend him. No, he's good. He's good. His movies are consistently high quality. I think sometimes he's miscast. You know what I mean? Like, they'll put him in something where I really wouldn't have, like, he shouldn't have been in Jack Reacher. Okay, he did a good job in it though. But that character is fucking huge in real life. That's supposed to be a big dude. Tom Cruise is my size.
Yeah, it
Okay.
didn't really. I mean, I kind of thought that was one of the defining characteristics of the Jack Reacher character.
Yeah, Jack Reacher's, and he's
I
a
read one of the
superhero
books.
basically.
I
He's
read one of the
basically
books a long
fucking
time.
Batman. He's
Right.
supposed to be 6'6" and fucking
he's like a
roided
big,
out,
massive-
a dude that just fucking chokes your fucking head off. You know what I mean? And this is not Tom Cruise is not that. Tom Cruise is 5'6" and
Well, they made
probably
a series with a
170
much
maybe.
bigger dude that was more like that.
Yeah. So he's miscast sometimes. But he does do a good job in everything that they put him in. And I heard that the fucking Maverick is supposed to be real good. It should be coming out soon. All right.
Yeah, we still haven't seen it.
Supposed to be real good. If
We
it's
probably
good, I'll
should have
buy
seen it on the big screen, but oh well.
Yeah.
Too
If it's good, I'll buy it. If it's good, I'll support it.
Oh, see, Zach was saying, actually, an all-women Expendables with some crotchety older action chicks sounds like a lot of fun. It does. I would probably totally watch that.
Yeah. I would, and I would have Stallone do that, produce it, and maybe even direct it. Maybe not in it, but then you could cross them over, where the Expendables.
Yeah, you could have
these
like
things-
an extended universe.
where they right. That's how I would do that. Evidently, he just came out with something new. It's supposed to be really good. Lil Swole said, "Man, you gotta see the new movie. It's good."
Oh, that's right. What the fuck was the name of that thing?
He said it was good.
I remember him sending us a message.
Yeah, he says this is a good movie. You'll like it. Fucking look, man. if
Lil
you want-
Swole loves all the action movies,
Yeah,
so
Lil
that's what they always like. Every
Yeah.
time he sees a good one, he always
Yeah.
messages Tom and said, "Oh, you gotta watch."
Yeah,
that."
yeah.
He loves all the old, even though he's a lot younger than us. He's
Right.
really into like all those '80s like action stars.
Yeah, Lil Swole's my fucking my retro connection. We came up in the bars together. Although he's not young anymore. I think he's pushing 40 now, isn't he?
Well, I'm just saying
Like,
he's a lot younger,
he's
than,
younger
we,
than us, but-
than we are.
Yeah, but he's he told me about what was the fucking sly fucking superhero one that fucking came out for free. That was pretty good too.
Yeah,
Just a couple months back. What was that called?
I can't remember. It was all right.
It was all right. It was good. These are good for fucking the budgets that he did. You know, those are not big budget movies. They're fucking basically. I think they're independent flicks. Really, I think he's produced himself, but I think he does a good job.
I mean, when you
I
got
like
money
Sly.
like that, like he's got, you can kind of do what you want.
I know a lot of you guys listening. We're the same generation as me, and we watched the fucking Clash of the Titans between fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and fucking Sylvester Stallone, or who is the best. And it's clear to me now that fucking Sylvester Stallone,
Well, like I said, because he was kind of the whole package.
Yeah.
I mean, he can actually act, he can write, he can produce, he can direct, he can
He
do all
still
that stuff.
fucking looks great. I mean, you guys want to know how to age? Look at fucking Sylvester Stallone. That dude's about 75. He's fucking looking good for 75. There ain't. I mean, that's like top 0.5% of the male population, smaller than 0.5%. Look that good at 75 years old. You know, what he's on wife number 7. I think his new wife is just being born now. You know, fucking every time he gets married, she's younger and younger and younger and younger. I mean,
Every time he gets married, his new wife gets born somewhere, like on Earth.
Yeah, he gets married and another wife's born. He's like, I'll get you in a bit.
And then he like,
fucking,
he puts a hold on that,
Right,
one,
and
like
he's
while she's still a baby. Ooh, that was
produced. He's produced. He has
That was
produced
creepy.
and created so many beautiful young women in his life. Every one of his daughters is a fucking knockout. You seen his daughters?
Well, I saw that one that was in that movie.
Every one of his daughters is cute.
How is that specific enough for you?
Yeah.
I saw that one that was in that movie.
Yeah, so I think her name was Celeste Stallone.
Was it the shark movie? Was it the shark?
It was a
movie?
shark movie. Yeah,
She was in that.
She was
shark.
good in it.
She was in that shark movie.
she didn't really stand out, but you know that's
47
good.
meters down. The
Yeah.
second one.
Yeah,
The second one. Unchained or uncaged.
she didn't really stand out, but I think that might have been a good thing because she didn't stand out as bad. If you stand out as bad, then that's bad. She just fit right in with the tone of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really,
Right.
for an actor, like, especially if you're just starting out, and, you know, not to be mean, but if you're not, like, that great an actor, like, the best you can hope for is just to, like, not, just to kind of,
Not to stand out as sucky.
just to kind of stay in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't stand out for being, like, worse than everybody else.
Right.
Richard Brown said, is Rosemary's Baby a female horror film?
It's a good
no, I think I would just call that. Well, see, that's the problem that you get into because I kind of feel like, for me, like a horror movie is just a horror movie. Like if it's a male character, main character, or female main character, or whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just kind of like interested in what the story is and like, you know, is this a good movie or not? And I think that sometimes you can get too wrapped up in, oh, this is like a female-centered horror movie, or this is... I mean, yeah, it's about a woman, and it's about how she gets fucking gaslighted and shit like that, but I don't think that necessarily makes it... Because it doesn't matter, like... It doesn't really matter what the gender of the main character is. Like, everyone can experience that. Not pregnancy, obviously, but the same kind of thing. Like, being told that you're crazy and all that other kind of stuff. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a woman. So... I don't know. I don't know. I just like fucking story. I just like good stories. I don't give a shit if it's men or women or whoever is at the center of it. Just tell me a good story that entertains me. That's all I ask for. It's not a lot, really.
All right. There's a bunch of people talking to me. Go ahead and read them off, Jan. They're talking
well,
about
wait.
shows
I got way behind.
All right, yeah.
Well, I got way behind because we got like talking.
Okay. All right. We got a big crowd in there for our show.
Tom Sykes said, some say Night of the Comet is the greatest film with two broads as the leading roles. And so do I. We still haven't done it. I mean, I kind of feel like... I don't know if we're going to because... Yeah, because our next matinee show is Sunday, which is Christmas Day. So I don't know if we're actually going to do something on Christmas Day. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll be bored and we'll like come on and do it. Maybe we'll do Night of the Comet. I don't know. Because we keep promising we're going to do it. And it's like, I just haven't got around to doing it yet. Ben said, wasn't Coyote Ugly a practical joke to get guys to watch a chick flick? Was it a chick flick? Like, I'm pretty sure I saw it, but I don't remember a single fucking thing about it. Yeah, John Smith, Tom Cruise is amazing in Interview with the Vampire. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to like him in that, but he was actually good in that. But it's because he's playing kind of a dick. Whenever he's playing kind of a dick, he's good because he doesn't really have to stretch all that much. I mean, you know, that's kind of my opinion anyway. Let's see. That's what people said around. Yeah, the Jack Reacher TV show, much closer to the source material. We should probably get around to watching that because we were talking about that when we were talking about the Jack Reacher movie.
Yeah. That
they had made the series with that, like, bigger dude. Gramthars says, best Christmas TV event ever was the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special, where our rogue heroes went to Chewbacca's house and enjoyed Yuletide vibes with Chewie's wife.
It's on
Malia
YouTube.
and their puppy children.
Christmas, yeah.
It's
on YouTube.
It's really something. It looks like there were probably like a lot of drugs involved.
Yeah, it's high. They're high, but it's been restored and everything. The Christmas special. It even had no fucking Maud or what's her name? Fucking woman, the chick that played Maud, fucking sings a song.
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur. She fucking sings a song in it.
Some of that stuff that came out in the 70s, man, it's like you watch it now and I'm just like, what the fuck were they thinking? Cocaine, that's what they were thinking.
They just had to get some Star Wars eyes on the because they wanted some Star Wars money, and they just cooked that up real quick. And this is before VCRs and VHS, so there's no way people could record it really. They thought it would be one and done, no one would ever see it again. Little did they know that somebody saved that shit, and then they could not foresee YouTube.
Well, okay. Yeah. I feel like I just got a hair from my wig like in my mouth and I can't get it out. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like nobody that was making stuff in the 60s and 70s, and you know, you can't blame them, but they couldn't foresee that there would be this massive, you know, pool of like collectors and also people that were really, really into retro shit that were really into all that stuff.
Yeah, it was so disposable shit. It was supposed to just come and go. And it was...
Well, when I was researching my video that I'm going to put up tomorrow about all the Rankin-Bass, like the stop motion Christmas specials that they did, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is Coming to Town and stuff. And the thing about it is that when they did the animation with the puppets, nobody thought to like keep the puppets. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they were just kind of like, oh, well, we're done, and we're just like... Yeah. They just threw them out, or they just like took them home for their kids to play with, or some shit like that. So most of them just got lost or like busted up or whatever. And so they didn't realize back in the 1960s that 50 years later, people would still be talking about that shit.
Yeah. No, it was just about... It was an industry where you just made up some shit real quick. You put it on there. You fucking sold advertising for it. Advertising spots on it, and then it was gone. You did it, and
then you moved on to the next thing.
There's no concept of collector's or secondary market or classic or anything. It was disposable. And that was the Star Wars holiday fucking show was disposable. I remember waiting for it to come on. I sat there and watched it. Fucking when it come on, I was like, oh, I was freaking out the whole time. I loved it. And they're singing and fucking he's watching fucking Wookiee porn and fucking, you know, remember that?
That's right. There was Wookiee porn.
Wookiee porn. He's I forgot who it was. It was a pretty black singer who did the fucking song.
That's right. Who the fuck was that in that? It wasn't Eartha Kitt, was it?
No. She was real big in the 70s. Real big in the 70s. They had her in like a leotard.
Damn it. I know who it is, and now I can't remember. Somebody
had her in a leotard. I knew who it was at the time because she was on the radio.
Yeah.
My mom would be listening to it. I knew. So it was real relevant to the 70s. So it's weirder now because you don't...
Because all of it, yeah.
It's all gone and people aren't connected to the culture. But in the 70s, that was not weird at all. It was very, like, contemporary. Real hit. Like, oh, yeah. It'd be like having fucking, you know, some stars on there today. It'd be like having fucking, I don't know. Who's big now? You know, some big...
Don't look at me. I don't know.
Some big fucking music
I'm an old
stars.
bitch.
Yeah, we don't give a shit. And we don't give a shit anyway.
I didn't know who was famous like back in the 80s when I was a teenager.
Yeah, we didn't give a shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I really don't know now. I mean, unless it's kind of like relevant to my interests, like, you know, in that case, like I know about it then, but it's like, I don't even know. I don't even know what mainstream culture is or like what's popular.
Chewbacca's dad or granddad, he was watching the Wookiee porn through the Viewmaster. See, they had even predicted VR, virtual reality. See,
they did.
He put the goggles on. It wasn't Gladys. It wasn't Gladys Knights, was it? It wasn't Gladys. No, it wasn't Gladys. No.
Oh, maybe it was. Hold on. God damn it! Who the fuck was it? If it wasn't her, it was somebody like that.
Yeah, something like that. And he's watching her, and she's singing this love song and dancing, but it made sense at the time.
And Grandpa Wookiee was like jerking it right there in the lazy
like,
boy.
Oh shit! He's hiding it from his wife and shit, putting it on again. It was just a fun show, and then fucking Han Solo shows up, and then you lose it. You know, you're a kid, you're gonna lose because you don't think another movie. You don't think another movie's gonna happen. You didn't know fucking Empire Strikes Back was coming. You know.
Yeah.
Nothing was guaranteed back then. And then fucking Luke shows up, and I even think fucking Princess Leia shows up.
Yeah, didn't Carrie Fisher show up?
I think
for that?
she's in it too. Yeah.
She was able to.
Yeah, and they got the little bit of the bar, like a bar, and they're trying to fucking. It's like the cantina on Tatooine, but it's not.
I mean, they tried. It was just and like you said, it was probably less weird and like less jarring back then because. It's funny because when you said about seeing it in the context of the time when stuff that was really big at the time that isn't big or people have forgotten about nowadays, I kind of feel like when I was doing for my other channel, I was talking about the Addams Family Halloween special, which I think came out in 1978, I wanted to say. And, you know, that was many, many years like after the Addams Family show had gone off the air, but they all like looked pretty much the same. And I noticed in there that they made like a whole bunch of cultural references that I don't think most people that aren't old like me would know what they were talking about. Like they made a joke about Mikey and how he likes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, remember that Life cereal commercial?
Yeah.
Which was huge.
Yeah, he'll try anything.
In the fucking 70s, like, you know, hey, Mikey. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like they made a joke like that, and I said, like, if younger people were watching that nowadays, they would have no idea, like, why that was funny. Well, it wasn't funny, but I'm just saying why they thought it would be funny, because they were referencing something that was, like, really popular at the time. But it was a commercial.
Yeah.
So... But I kind of feel like it's one of those commercials like fucking Where's the Beef in the 80s, which was like people massive and everybody... Yeah.
You like talking about like Mac Tonight.
I remember that.
Yeah, remember that? Fucking the Moon Man.
I remember
Look, we're getting sidetracked. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that's what this show is. But the thing about Mac Tonight, though, is that... I know it's for McDonald's. I know that. But what exactly was that promoting?
Okay.
Was it the McDLT?
Yeah, it was a new menu that they were trying to promote.
Right.
They were trying to make McDonald's more classy. Before
classy McDonald's.
Before McDonald's got people in there by selling kiddie meals and giving away free toys.
Yeah.
So it's the kids pulling the adults into the to buy something from McDonald's. They reversed it. They tried to get it to make it so it was a place that would attract adults. So they went with a nightclub theme. They got rid of fucking Ronald McDonald looking stuff. And they brought in this fucking dude that looked like a damn moon. His whole head looked like a moon.
I liked that character. I liked that whole campaign though. I thought it was kind of cool.
It didn't go on for very long.
It didn't, but I remember
it. You got the McDLT, and they had a couple of other things that they were selling.
McDLT.
Yeah, and they kind of changed the decor of all the McDonald's.
Classing up the joint.
Yeah.
All right, so so I missed a bunch of stuff. No. John Smith said Carrie Fisher later said she was high as a kite during the making of the holiday special. I kind of feel like Carrie Fisher was high as a kite all the time, during that time period. Well, she'd be the first to admit that.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore because she died, but you know what I mean. But back then she would have. Ben said if you remember the 70s, you weren't doing it right. Kevin Smith says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. John Smith said fun Christmas fact: all of Santa's reindeer, including Rudolph, are female. Which is interesting because the specials that I was doing, they did actually posit in The Year Without a Santa Claus that Vixen was female. However, I will say that in the Rudolph special, Rudolph is very clearly male, and his dad is Donner, so that he's obviously male also. I thought it was very funny, too, that Rudolph's mom was named Mrs. Donner. She didn't even have her own name. She was just Mrs. Donner. I thought
it's because they made that up.
I thought. Well, I know that. I just thought that was really funny. They didn't even give her a name. It's just I thought
because they didn't want to make her a vixen.
Well, they could have given her. I mean, there was another.
That's a porn star name.
There was another. Yeah. There were other reindeer in there that had other names. There was Clarice, and there was Fireball, and there was so there was other reindeer that had other names. They could have given her a name, but they didn't. Let's see. Diane Carroll. Was that who it was that was dancing?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we have to look that up.
It's been so long.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for a really long time. It was
somebody who was famous back then.
Yeah.
And she actually had some hit songs that if I heard them, I'd recognize them, but I can't put a name to it.
Gramthars said the 70s was a crazy time. Polyester shirts, bell-bottom jeans, cocaine, random sex, El Caminos. Serial killers would have at least 20 victims.
Yeah.
And people would pay money for a pet rock. That about sums it up, doesn't it? That about sums it up. No, it wasn't Aretha Franklin.
No, Aretha Franklin was too old.
It might have been Diane Carroll, or like you said, Gladys Knight. Although was Gladys Knight, how old was she in that? When did that come out? 77.
Yeah, from what I remember, the woman singing was in her late 30s, around 30s, I would say.
Ben said the stormtroopers show up and bully Chewbacca's son.
Yeah.
And break his toy.
It
traumatized me as a child and led me to a lifelong distrust of stormtroopers.
I lost it when the stormtroopers showed up. I loved seeing those things. I never could quite remember what they looked like at that era. So every time I'd see one, I'd go, yeah, that's it. That's it. And now it's, you know exactly what a stormtrooper looks like.
It's just so weird to think back at that time period because it's if you didn't see the movie back then, it's not like you could just go on the internet and look at a picture of it.
Right. And then the little action figure, little things that they'd sell you they weren't quite accurate. And you did see some photographs. They'd have photographs in magazines. But seeing them move on a screen, you know what I mean, from all angles, it was just better. You know what I mean? You're yeah, that's what it looked like. I for a long time, I was trying to figure out what the alien looked like from Alien 1. You know?
Yeah. Because to be fair, they didn't show it. Well, they didn't show it real well in the first movie. You couldn't see it in all its glory.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what it looked like.
John Smith said the reindeer must be female as they all have their antlers at Christmas time. Only female reindeer keep antlers this time of year. Mm-hmm. So there you go. That's a fun fact. And like I said, even though Vixen was female in one of the specials, but Rudolph and Donner at least were male in the first one. So they fucked that up. Tom Sykes said the Little Drummer Boy Rankin-Bass film was the worst out of all the films. I didn't actually review that one because I was going to just do the stop motion because I know they did Frosty the Snowman and the Stingiest Man in the World or whatever it was. the one that was based on A Christmas Carol, and I liked those as well, but I was like, well, shit, I can't, like, I don't have time to watch all of these, so I just want to do like the 3 main stop motion ones. But yeah, they did do the Little Drummer Boy, but see, I saw that when I was a kid, and I said this in the video, I saw that when I was a kid, but I remember that one not sticking with me as much because it was like Jesus-y. Because it was about a kid that was going to see like Jesus being born.
Yeah.
You know?
How far behind are we on these?
I think I'm caught up, unless I missed a bunch.
You skipped a bunch of questions people had asked me.
Well, what were they? I mean, you can see them.
Yeah.
Like, you know which ones you want to answer.
Jenny will skip a question put to me. She doesn't really...
No, I did. Well, sometimes I don't see them.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, sometimes it just kind of goes up and down. I'm not doing it on purpose, like, just to be mean to you or something.
How did it go?
I don't know.
All right. Tom said, did Tom and Jenny see the Halloween Ends?
Oh, Halloween Ends. We did not see that.
Okay.
We saw Halloween Kills, which was actually pretty good. Yeah. But we haven't got around to Halloween Ends yet.
John Smith said, yeah, the Star Wars disco theme is on YouTube, too.
Okay, so I'm going to have to look that up later.
Yeah.
I didn't like disco at the time, but it's kind of, like, grown on me over the years. Gonna say. I guess because I'm so far removed from it now. Okay. It's like, it's okay to
Here's
like
one.
it.
Tom Sykes says, Tom, watch the Tom Cruise film Edge of Tomorrow.
Did we see that?
Nope, didn't see it. Just like Aliens, sort of, but better. I haven't seen that one. Edge of Tomorrow. Okay, I'll watch it.
I've heard of that. I thought we had seen it, but maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else.
And then Tammy's talking about Lestat was supposed to be over 6 feet tall. Yeah, he was. And he was supposed to be 16, I think, when he was.
I thought he was 18, but
still, there's
something
not a big
like
difference,
really young. Yeah.
Yeah, when he got turned, so
really young.
Would have looked kind of funny.
I mean, he was good in that. Yeah. I'm not saying that, but I don't know. I still wonder what that movie would have been like with someone else in it.
Yeah, Ben Frail came in and said Demolition Man is one of the best, great sci-fi movies of all time. Yes, one of the greatest, and it all came true.
I gotta pee.
Demolition Man came true. You know, why don't you put the?
Well, because you got questions to answer.
Okay, let me see.
You were complaining that you were behind, so
yeah,
you can get caught up now.
All right. There was something else somebody had asked me. Where'd that go? Shit, where'd that question go? I'm trying to remember. All right, somebody asked me a question and I can't find it. If you ask me a question and I didn't answer it, you can drop it back down in the comment section again, and I'll answer it. But I forgot where it was. I can't find it. I forgot what the damn question was. Yeah, I can't find it. I don't remember where it was.
Don't remember where it was.
Yeah, I can't find it. Somebody asked me a question and I can't find it.
Maybe I already said it and you're not paying attention.
See it again.
Tom Sykes said it's like Aliens meets Groundhog Day.
What the hell does that mean?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Okay. There must be some time loops or something.
Yeah, I guess so. Hugo says Friday the 13th Part 3D has a disco version. Like, that's authorized or no? Because I'm kind of intrigued either way. Ben says, one of the few episodes I saw of That 70s Show, the guy told his girlfriend when they were debating what to do that weekend, we can have sex anytime. This is Star Wars. Pretty much. Let's see. William Shatner did that mystery program. What's
He's
the one?
done a bunch of those.
Well, we watched that one that he did called The Unexplained, which they have on. Is it on Amazon Prime?
I don't know.
It's recent. Like it's only like a year or two old.
Yeah, I think it was Amazon Prime.
And I think there's like 2 or 3 seasons of it. It's actually like really good. Every single show, like they just do like a handful of different, like, hey, this one's about out of body experiences, or this one's about like mummies, or this one, you know what I mean? So it's actually like pretty good. And he's like really hamming it up in there. Well, like, he's always hamming it up, but you know what I mean? He's doing like the Shatner shtick, which is what you pay him for. But I really like that show.
Although he denies it being a shtick. Isn't that fun?
Well, I mean, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. It's just maybe that's just the way he's like. You know what I mean? That's what he's like.
Yeah, he denies. If you say you do the Shatter thing, I'm not doing the Shatter thing.
He's like, I'm just me. I'm just being me. Just me is that's the Shatter thing. That would be like, I don't know. Maybe he thinks of it as like that'd be like people saying that like I was doing a shtick, and I'm just like, no, I'm just
do
like
that Jenny thing.
I'm just like doing like what I normally do. I even do that like when I'm watching a movie in here by myself and like no one's around. Like, you know what I mean? I even like talk to the fucking movie just like I'm talking to you guys. John Smith said, didn't Leonard Nimoy do a mystery type show? Yes, he did. It was called In Search Of, and it's great. I loved that show when I was growing up. So creepy. Like, I kind of feel like everything about it, you know, it's pretty like dated nowadays, but I don't know. There was something about it like back then, like watching it in the 70s, and because it was Leonard Nimoy and I always associated him with Spock, so he always was very like authoritative. So you could like believe some shit, like if he told you that this shit happened, like on the show, you know what I mean? Like if this shit was creepy, then Spock says it's Spock approved, you know what I mean? It's like, so I used to like really love that shit. Zach says, got something for Tom. Was looking up movies shot in Indiana, and one is an 80s porn action movie about college girls who get raped and then go after their attackers with machine guns. That sounds pretty fun, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Is there going to be a show on Sunday? We might do one. I'm not really sure. We might do like a Christmas horror movie or something like that. We'll see. I mean, it'll depend. Yeah, we're going to do like Christmas, and we're going to do like a Christmas dinner, but we usually have that earlier. So I don't know. Like if we're bored afterward, we might maybe. Unless we're like drunk already. We'll see. I'll post about it and like see what happens. And I might put up a video too, because I've been trying to like put up videos. Like I said, I was trying to get the one about the Rankin-Bass specials. I was trying to get that one put up today, but I only just finished editing it like before we started doing this show. Thank you, Gramthars. Gramthars says, if y'all like the 13 o'clock podcast, give $1 or $2 if you have $1 or $2. Yes, thank you very much. We would very much appreciate that. But yeah, so I was going to get it put up today, but I only just finished editing it, and I didn't finish the thumbnail image yet. And I want to have time to kind of like work on that. So I'll probably wait till tomorrow to put it up. But I don't know. I wanted to at least get another Christmas horror movie, and maybe that I have like a book of Christmas horror stories that I wanted to read and review. I'll see if I have time. We might do Night of the Comet, because I know I felt bad because like a lot of people have requested that, and I feel bad that we haven't got around to it yet. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll watch that Saturday night and we'll talk about it Sunday.
Watching what?
I said they were asking if we were going to do a stream on Sunday, which is Christmas Day.
Oh, okay.
And I said maybe we will.
Maybe. We'll see.
Everybody's asking us to do Night of the Comet, because that's like a Christmas horror movie.
Okay.
So maybe we'll do that. Maybe.
And I want to see that, and I want to see that Tom Cruise.
Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah. I've heard of that. It's like I can't believe that we haven't seen that.
I liked Oblivion.
I did too. Well, I mean, write it down. Like, write Edge of Tomorrow, so we can
remember. Maybe
we can watch it later. You won't remember. Write it down.
Well, I'll just remember it's a Tom Cruise fucking science fiction movie.
Oh, okay.
I'll find it. It's probably on Amazon.
I'd imagine.
Probably see it for free. Probably. What time is it?
7:30.
Okay.
It's early still.
Yeah.
It's early
We're
still.
gonna get something to eat though.
What are you thinking?
I got that pork tenderloin already
Oh,
cooked
that's
up
right.
down
I
there.
forgot about
Maybe want some ramen with that?
Ooh.
Sound good?
I'm intrigued.
I can make you cheese ramen. You want that cheese in it?
No.
Cheese in it. I can. You just want regular ramen with that and some vegetables.
Yeah, I like vegetables.
Okay.
I don't like all that cheese.
You got beef ramen.
I do.
You have beef or you have chicken.
They honestly, they all taste pretty much the same.
Same to you. Okay.
They all taste like salty. Tom Sykes
You want
says
creamer in it?
Sure.
Okay. A lot of people like creamer, and creamer's really good in.
Yeah, it like thickens it up.
Yeah, creamer's really good.
Tom Sykes said the David Hess 1980s slasher flick To All a Good Night is an underrated Christmas horror film, also free on YouTube. Yeah. Might check that one out too because I really like David Hess. You know what's interesting is that what was the last Quentin Tarantino movie we did? Hateful Eight, right?
Yeah.
That had a David Hess song in it, and it was the one that was in Last House on the Left. It was Hateful Eight, I think, that had that song in it, right? Yeah. So, see? Fucking Tarantino, he's getting, like, down deep. He's gonna, like, doing the deep cuts, man. Because as soon as I heard that, I was just kind of like, oh my god, that's David Hess. He was in Last House on the Left. He played Krug, like the main rapist guy. He always played characters like that, I guess because of what he looked like. Tom Sykes said Friday the 13th 1 ripped off To All a Good Night, kind of. I kind of feel like the Friday the 13th movies, as much as I love them, they did kind of like rip off a lot of things, didn't they?
Friday, serious movies.
Friday the 13th was basically, they basically made that as Sean Cunningham saying, hey, let's rip off Halloween.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th Part 2 straight up stole 2 whole entire scenes from Mario Bava's Twitch of the Death Nerve, a.k.a. Bay of Blood. Like, including that spear through the couple that was stolen right from Bay of Blood. That was the exact same scene. They even shot it the same and everything. It was homaging. It's homaging.
You got to put it back in the time. The day that it came out. There is a damn YouTube channel of these guys. They're younger than me now. But in the very late 80s, they got their hands on a video camcorder. Back when you could get one all of a sudden for $250, $300. Because before then, they were thousands of dollars. I remember when that shit happened.
Yeah, they were very expensive.
And then overnight, like in the very late 80s, you could get one for about $300. And it was like, what? Well, these kids got when they were still in, they're like fucking 15, 16 years old. They got their hands on this fucking camera. And they're growing up in Alabama. And one of them's a metalhead, and the other one's, it's like almost like Bill and Ted. And they took all these videos of them when they were kids, talking about their air guitar band and going around their town. And they've posted up all their fucking videos from when they were a kid. And they made movies and everything. It's fucking hilarious.
That's so cool.
And it's getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views.
Well, yeah, people love that shit.
Yeah. And then young people are like tripping out about how we grew up. They're like, man, I wish I grew up in the late 80s. The 80s was so great. Certain parts of it was good.
Some of it was okay.
Yeah, some of it was good.
I wouldn't go back, though. No thanks.
Yeah, I would go back for certain things. Certain things were really good back then. But, no. And it's funny to see things, to go back and see things in the context of the time.
Yeah.
They go to, they're in Alabama. I'm trying to remember fucking what the name of this channel is. I can refer you guys to it. I'll get to it after I tell a story. I'll go in there and I'll try to find it, and I'll tell you, and I'll show you guys. You guys will get a kick out of it. They go to a used record store in their little town in Alabama. All right, and it's shit's all making sense to me. Kind of growing up for most of the summers of my early life, going in Mississippi to see my dad. Because Mississippi and Alabama is not a spit of difference between them. They were the same state at one time. It was all Alabama, and then Mississippi split off, or it was all Mississippi and Alabama split off. I don't remember exactly how it went. But they go to this little used record store, and you can get a record for $2.
Uh-huh.
And the dude's got long hair, and he's like trying to be as cool as he could possibly be. He's 15, and he goes, and he's talking to the camera as if he's talking to the fucking live TV. All right, and they're recording this shit on a VHS tape. All right, There's no distribution. All right, and he goes, And if any of you girls are out there, you know, you come see us, come see me, come, you know, this is where we are. Come, if you're 14, or if you're 14 or older, you can come see me. If you're 14 or younger, you can come see me. But you can't be a little kid. And he says, so wait a minute. He says, if you're 14 or older, you can come and see me. If you're 14 and younger, you can come and see me.
No babies, though.
But
no babies.
Yeah. So he says you can come and see him. You know, it's just fucking hilarious.
If you can walk, you can come see me.
Yes, and then I was just like, I know where you're coming from.
They warn neighborhoods about dudes like that nowadays.
He's 14. He's 14.
Oh, okay. So
he's 14.
You should have like said that up front.
No, he's
I was
kid.
imagining.
No.
I was imagining. I thought that you said that they were interviewing somebody. I thought, okay.
No, they got a camera and it's kids running around a camera.
But you said that they went in a used record store.
They did.
I assumed that they were interviewing the person that owned or worked at the record store.
No, they were talking to each other.
So I was assuming that it was an 18 and up person.
No, they were talking to each other as they were walking with the camera.
All right, so
they go to the.
So that's significantly less.
They go to the store and buy candy and everything. Okay, and he's got long hair and they got homemade fucking band shirts for their air guitar band. It's plainly says Macabre. All right, that's the name of the band. They're calling it Macabre.
Oh,
Macabre. They're mispronouncing their own fucking band's name, Macabre, and.
Although that actually would have been funnier and cleverer if they'd called it that, but they spelled it like Makabray.
No, they called it Macabre.
Like Macabre. That would be really funny.
No, he's only 14. Okay,
that's so cute.
And he goes, if any of you girls out there want to come see us, fucking, and he gives his fucking address, I think, and he goes, if you're 14 or older, you can come see. And he goes, if you're 14 and younger, you can come see us, but you can't be a baby. Basically, is what he said.
Like I said, no infants. They're not. Gonna
so basically, you can come and see him.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
I'm gonna try to find. I can try to find what the name.
You know what's funny though when you said about Macabre was that I remember, if any of you have read Stephen King's Dance Macabre, you know, the book where he talks about some of his like formative experiences with horror, like when he was young, and he was talking about there was a movie that came out. I can't remember what year it came out. I want to say it was like the 60s, but maybe it was earlier, and it was called Macabre. And he said that him and his little friends, because they were just kids, they called it McBear.
That's him.
Aw, look at that kid.
The name of the channel is Eric and Daryl.
Eric and Daryl.
Eric and Daryl.
Metalhead Teens and a Record Store, 1989.
1989.
Aw, I remember that.
Yeah. That's them.
Look at that.
And his mom's got the vacuum cleaner running, and they're gonna go.
Mom, God.
Yeah, and then he's introducing the dog, and then they walk. They walk down and get some candy, and then they go to the record store. There's mom. Mom's telling them they need to vacuum. They're like, oh hell no, and then they leave. They're like, fuck that, fuck that, and then they.
Fuck you, Mom. We're
like,
not doing chores.
we're getting out of here. He's the one that says if you're over 14, you can see him. If you're under 14, you can come visit. And he's introducing you to his whole fucking neighborhood in Alabama. And then they go to the... Well, anyway, what was funny, and what I was saying in the context of everything, is that they go to the Chinese restaurant. But they were going through their used records, and they found a Queensryche album. The Warning, and it was so funny to see. It was old in the late 80s, probably about 4 years old, but it's just funny to see it in the context of fucking teenager. That's the record store of teenagers in the 80s. It was funny because I was just listening to that album, and it brought it back to me how old that is.
Yeah,
that was an old album. It's right there.
Was that Frampton Comes Alive? I thought I saw Frampton Comes Alive.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
I don't
Eric
know
and Daryl. Eric with a C. But they got a lot of good videos.
I'm trying to see the posters on the wall, but I can't really see.
And then they said, what happened to this kid? What happened to him? He became a lawyer. Went to university, became a lawyer. Yeah, he goes in there, he finds a fucking...
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That looks like the record store that used to be in Daytona when
Yeah.
that was called Criminal Records. That I
Macabre.
used to go to. Macabre. Aw.
I'm going, what the fuck are they saying? Macabre. And they're talking about this band like it's a fucking band, like a real band. And they got their shirts, and they're fucking handmade shirts. Macabre. And then I saw it, and I go, that's macabre.
Oh, macabre. That's darling. I love that. I love that.
What the fuck? It's like some shit a 14-year-old would come up
It
with.
is exactly. Well, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's adorable. That's
Yeah.
adorable. Zach said, "I always wonder where you draw the line between homage and a ripoff, because I know when I'm working on stories that they aren't original enough, and then I wind up never finishing any of them. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like really hard because sometimes." I mean, you get ideas from other stories and movies and things like that, but you want to like at least change it enough to. I don't really have a problem with homage as long as you're not. Because, you know, I think we got into this a little bit when we were talking about Quentin Tarantino, because a lot of people are just like, oh, he's just like, he's essentially like a collage artist pretty much. But the thing about it, the thing why I don't mind it when Tarantino does it is because, one, he doesn't make any fucking secret about it.
Right.
And, he, you know, he's basically like, hey, I got this from that and this from that and this from that.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
an homage when they know that you know.
Yeah.
Behind it.
And
it's
he's
a ripoff when
and
they
he
try
just
to make
loves
it,
the
yeah.
shit so
Yeah.
much that he's just trying to. And honestly, like I think he's done a great service to a lot of these more obscure filmmakers who maybe people would have forgotten about if he hadn't homaged them in one of his movies, and then everybody's like, oh, like, you know, Quentin Tarantino talked about that, so I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
So I think that he, in a lot of ways, like he used his fame for good. You know what I mean? So I think that's cool.
Fucking Richard Brown knows the Warning album. Fucking Warning album's good, man. Warning album came true, basically, about a one world government trying to take over and people fighting it, and but it's kind of way in the future, and they got a cyborgs and dudes fucking putting chips in people's heads, and they were Alex Jones before Alex Jones, man, but they were doing fantasy. It was like Star Wars. The thing is, I never really could make sense out of the fucking story on the album. Turns out that the label made them change the order of the songs. You can go on YouTube, and they've reshuffled the original or the intended order of those songs, and it makes a lot more sense. It's a concept album. It was like an opera, because all their shit was Operation Mindcrime and all that, which that was a good album too. But I liked The Warning. I thought that was actually their first full-length album. Jeff Tate, man, that motherfucker could sing. Man, fucking almost like an opera singer. Real good.
E. Perry III says, random question for Tom. Can you type up the name of the Aztec drink you make, the one with guava?
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
the
Kukulkan.
The Kukulkan. You haven't made that in a
Haven't
while.
made it in a while.
It only has 3 ingredients.
Yeah.
It's basically like, it's a third tequila,
Yep, and then 1/3.
a third guava nectar,
Yeah, guava nectar.
and then what's the third thing? Pineapple?
It was I think it was pineapple.
Or mango.
No, it was a mango.
Pineapple.
It was pineapple.
Pineapple juice.
Or orange. Fuck, what was it?
I'm pretty sure
I wrote it down.
It was
It
pineapple.
was pineapple.
It's in the cookbook.
And I was getting that from the international aisle out of the damn grocery store when you go where the fucking Goya food is, and you keep going, and then there's like a Nicaraguan and fucking El Salvadoran fucking brands there, and they'll have these little cartons of like 1 liter cartons of juice. They're like $1. In those days, they're like $1.60. They've like doubled. But it was guava and pineapple
Yeah, guava, pineapple, and tequila.
It's
It's like equal parts. Like
equal
3
parts.
equal parts. That's
And
basically
ice.
all it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll like it. It was silver tequila. All right. Silver tequila is cheaper. That's like Mexican vodka. All right. You're supposed to mix that. You're not supposed to be mixing gold or Anjo. You're not supposed to be mixing that.
Yeah, you're
You're
supposed
not.
to
That's drinking whiskey.
right.
You're really not supposed to be mixing reposado, but I do too. Hornitos reposado was really good in that. Even though you're paying extra money to drink it straight, you know, silver is meant to be mixed. But sometimes you just do what you want to do. Like you don't use scotch in a mixed drink. You just don't.
You don't use really good
You're right, yeah.
liquor in a, I mean, you use good liquor, but you don't use like really, really good expensive shit. Like you don't make like a mixed drink with that because like you want to just taste it the way.
Yeah, you want to use kind of fucking middle of the road.
Right. Like this, for example, is what Sky.
Sky.
This is Sky.
That's middle of the road vodka. But Sky's real good cheap vodka.
Yeah, it's like what is it, $24.99
$24 for a big old
something like that for a
yeah.
big old thing. Zach says, also, can we talk about how cool it is you can now shoot a movie on your phone and it actually looks good?
Yeah.
See, everything, I think that's awesome. I think, like, all the technology is so cheap. Because, like, when we were growing up, it was, like, fucking hugely. If you wanted to, like, make movies or something like that, movie cameras, all, like, recording equipment, like, if you wanted to be in a band or something like that, was hugely expensive. So it was, like, a massive outlay of money. And it's, like, and once you made something, like, you didn't have distribution. It's not like you could just upload it and have, like, millions of people see it.
Yeah, no. You just had a tape and that's it.
Yeah.
No way to distribute it.
Nope.
That's why I thought fucking, what was the name? Eric and Daryl, I thought they were funny because they're making VHS tapes and they're presenting their materials as if the entire world sees it. Nobody saw that shit.
Well, now they are, but...
Now they can, but nobody saw that shit until they were fucking grown men.
Yeah.
Until YouTube happened.
Yeah.
And they're on there. They got older, and they're fucking on there, and they made movies. And fucking that Metalhead guy, he's only in some of them. Metalhead kid. And he turned out to be a lawyer. But the other guy, and then they had some of their girlfriends come over and fucking, and it's so funny to see a 14-year-old boy looks like a child. A 14-year-old girl looks like a fucking woman.
Yeah.
They looked totally different.
Women generally like
they look totally different. And
they mature much quicker.
Yeah. And she's obviously ready for a make-out section, and the boys are just not getting it. You know what I mean? She's flirting with them, and they're...
Well, why do you think girls that age find boys so frustrating and want to, like, go out with older ones? Because it's, like, dudes that are, like, they're just so dense.
Yeah, he was so... Dude, and they're all in the room with the camera and fucking...
You're, like, sending them all kind of signals. You might as well have, like, fucking semaphore flags. Yeah, and it's like they're not even, like, paying attention. They have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, and they're picking her up and fucking doing feats of strength and fucking... joking around. It's the same way we grew up fucking in the summers, fucking me in Mississippi, I was making out with some of them, though. I wasn't that dense, but these kids were scared. They were scared.
Yeah.
They were scared of her. But she's the same age as them, but it's just funny. She looks like 5 years older,
Well, we discussed that when we were talking about the original Karate Kid movie.
Yeah, exactly.
How basically, like, the two of them, like, Elizabeth Shue and what's his name that played Daniel, were the same age or pretty much the same age, but she looked about 5 years older than him.
Yeah.
And like it seemed really weird. Like I was always weirded out by that movie, like how much older she looked.
Yeah.
Even though technically I know they were like the same age, but
she's on the channel. Her name's Carol. They never said what happened to Carol, but Carol's about 14. And
I wonder if they get her permission, like to.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, they all know each other. They're all friends. No, nothing bad happened in it. She's just being 14.
No, I was just I was just wondering if if they asked her if she knows about it.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that the door busts open, and she's pushing the little guy. They're the same age, but he's smaller than her, and they're giggling like crazy. And she goes, "I'm gonna grab your fucking dick. I'm gonna fucking pull that shit off." And they got that shit. They got it on camera, and then they gets all embarrassed.
I already said
she was gonna wrap it around. I'm gonna wrap it around the hairbrush. And then she's
gonna wrap his dick around a hairbrush
and fucking pull it off.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
And then all of a sudden she plays it off like she didn't say that. And she goes over the mirror and fucking ties her shirt up in a fucking knot like that. She goes, "I look so frumpy." She's trying to show fucking midriff and shit. And she doesn't get the dudes are not getting it. They're scared to death of this fucking girl.
Right, I guess so.
Yeah, and then they're joking and. Just joking around, and she's definitely ready to make out with the fucking little blonde guy, and he doesn't get it.
Oh well.
He doesn't get it, no.
Maybe that's what they thought was so funny about the videos. Like, look how fucking clueless we were. I hope that they're less clueless than that.
No. They're grown men now.
Now that that doesn't mean anything.
Grown men in their 40s. Grown men in their late 40s or 40s, mid 40s.
That's like
and they put out videos commenting on the old ones, and then they can't believe how many fucking hits they got. Some of that shit was like coming up on like 400,000, 500,000 fucking views.
I believe it.
Because it shows the way we grew up. And you see, we couldn't do it because when we were that age, video cameras were still too expensive.
Yeah, we didn't have a video
they were
camera
too fucking
until I
expensive.
was like way older.
Right.
Because they were like, we couldn't afford one.
I couldn't afford a video camera until like 1990 when I was in the Army at the PX. Then all of a sudden they went down to about 300.
I think it was the 90s before we had one.
Yeah, they went down to about between 250 and 300. Depending on what the brand was. A Samsung, I think, which was considered like a cheap Korean brand or something. Samsung? What the fuck is that? You know what I mean? In 1990, nobody knew what Samsung was. That shit fucking showed up. And Gold Star. That was another one.
I was going to say Gold Star, I kind of feel like was
yeah.
the one that was the
Gold
bottom
Star.
of the barrel.
Yeah, but I think Gold Star ended up getting bought by Samsung, I think. Because Gold Star...
Oh, maybe it did.
And then Gold Star vanished.
I remember we had a Gold Star camera, and that thing was definitely a piece of shit.
Yeah. I had both.
Not a video camera, but just like a regular.
Yeah, I think I had a Gold Star video camera. And I think it was under 300. I think it might have been 275. It was great little camera.
I remember my dad bought a video camera like used.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he paid for it though, but I don't think we had it until. I kind of feel like it was the early 90s.
Yeah.
But I don't think we had anything in the 80s. Shit, man, even in the early 80s, like even VCRs were expensive. Like some of them were like $1,000 or more. So.
Zach's asking if I like U2. I liked early U2. Liked the Boy album. War was real good. Fucking Joshua Tree was good.
Yeah, I liked everything about up until Joshua Tree, which was what, 87?
Although, fucking Octone Baby wasn't bad. You had to listen to it a couple times, and then it had some good shit on it. But then after that, it just started to become very mainstream and kind of stale. It started to go the way of fucking not so much the Police, but what's his name? Sting. You know, Sting started to go very mainstream. He started to have an older female audience of fucking yoga practitioners or something, and
yeah,
I don't
nobody
know
wants that.
You know, I mean, no disrespect to Sting, it's just I wasn't his audience. The fucking Police were fucking great.
Neither was I. But
I could jam to the Police.
I loved the Police.
You can put the Police on right now. Fucking all of their albums.
Yeah, I love all their shit.
All of them.
I loved all their shit. I had a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of them.
Fucking great band.
I loved all their shit. I liked some of... I think I bought Sting's solo stuff up until... I had Dream of the Blue Turtles.
He had good solo stuff.
I had that one.
Yeah, that was
on
good
vinyl. What was the one after that?
Good
I
album.
can't remember.
He had good solo stuff, but
He did, yeah.
As it went on, though, he started to go for an older crowd and a more female crowd as he went. He started to become very up his own ass kind of sound, very snotty, elevated, too fucking spiritual. It went that way.
Well, that's kind of like he went for, like, nowadays it's kind of like you said, it's kind of like the yoga wellness kind of crowd. And there's a whole like subgenre of like TikTok and all that kind of stuff that like women that are into that, and it's just like I can't stand any of that shit.
Yeah.
I can't stand any of that like, oh, I'm so spiritual and like fucking crystals and smoothies, and it's like I can't stand any of that stuff.
You look at
I hate
Sting,
that shit.
and Sting don't fucking fool me, man. That's the kind of dude to come steal your wife or your girlfriend, and to take her to some fucking yoga fucking thing, right? And he takes his yoga pants off in the lotus position. And then
without touching anything.
Yeah, and then,
which actually would be kind of impressive.
And then your girlfriend or your wife takes her pants off and fucking she sits in the fucking logo. And then some music and some incest happens and shit. And then about a half hour later, your girlfriend slowly kind of climbs up on Bobo and fucking starts straddling his fucking lingam. And that shit penetrates inside the fucking yanny. I think that's what the Indians called it, up in the yanny. And then there's like this tantric fucking combination of fucking fluids that fucking go. And he's fucking your girlfriend, okay? It's just he's just gonna fucking say it a different way. He's not gonna fucking portray it as what it was, but we all know what it was. And then he's gonna send your girlfriend back to you, okay? And she's gonna show up late that day, okay? In them pants, in them yoga pants, all right? Well fucked, okay? And she's gonna play it off, all right? And that's the spirituality that fucking Sting is bringing, okay? So I see right through it.
Do you know what? Every time you kind of tell that story about Sting, it reminds me.
I tell this story about Sting.
Well, I'm just saying. I think you've told it like one time before because
I don't
think
I've never told this story about.
Because
Sting.
I think
I'm telling stories about Sting as if they happened. But go ahead.
I'm just saying it reminds me of the movie The Hand, because his wife
that's what it is.
Around with
you got it.
You can't blame her though. Because Michael Caine in that movie is a douchebag.
See, he's got toxic masculinity. He can't let go.
So his wife is just kind of like, I'm gonna go jump on Sting's dick over here. Although the yoga instructor in that movie doesn't look anywhere good as Sting does.
No, he was a douche too.
Well, yeah, they were both different flavors of douche.
Yeah. They were
different douche flavors.
Yeah.
33 flavors of douche. Baskin Robbins. Douchkin Robbins.
Yeah. Douchkin Robbins. Oh shit.
Oh my god. That's a new t-shirt right there. I just fucking made that up. Fucking Sting. I like Sting though. But like I said, I don't like anything that, I don't know. I don't mean to like pick, but it's just kind of like any of that kind of, I don't know how it's going on nowadays, but I kind of feel like for a time it was that Oprah crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just like super, super womany, and we're going to do like the womany book club and like the Lifetime movies and stuff. See, I hate that shit. I can't stand it.
Perry the Third is fucking thanking Tammy because he can't look it up. He says
the cookbook,
Yeah, the cookbook. It says, Tom and Jenny are the saviors of my long, grating commute. So he must be in his car commuting, or he's commuting on a train. Probably driving. So that's what it's for, man.
Yeah. Oracle just got here.
Oracle just showing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what's up? We're talking about Sting and like... and him and his lingam going into people's punani.
Yeah, up in the Yanny. You gotta use proper.
I'm mixing up Sting and Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Their terminology. I apologize.
It's gotta be a little Indian on that shit.
But yeah,
John said I like some U2 songs. Bono can fuck can fuck right off. Yeah, fuck Bono. That's another sanctimonious fucking twat.
Yeah, it's just play music, and the thing about it, it's
play
like
some music and shut the fuck up.
Well, hey man, like
he made a lot of money laundering money, basically.
The thing about it, though,
he's a money launderer. That's what he does.
I absolutely do not have a problem with, let's call like celebrities or whoever. Like, look, if they have a particular cause or they have something they feel passionate about, I don't really have a problem with them like talking about it because
that's not what he's doing, though.
I haven't got to the end of what I was going to say there. I don't have a problem with that because, like, hey, they're a person and they're entitled to have an opinion just like every other random motherfucker is, right? So just because they're famous and have money, that doesn't make them any different necessarily. But I'm just kind of feeling like if the thing about Bono, and maybe Sting to a lesser extent, although I don't see it as much with Sting, but I guess he's kind of like that too. But I'm kind of like, look, if you feel passionately about something and you have a shit ton of money, just give to that charity. Like, you can use your celebrity to like bring attention to that and everything. Yeah. But the problem arises when they come out and like get, like you said, sanctimonious about it. Like they're kind of like giving the impression that they're like better than everybody or something like that. I don't have a problem with them like bringing attention to an issue that they are passionate about or they're giving money to. I don't have an issue with that.
The thing is, though, is that they're not giving money to those causes.
Well, I'm just saying I don't have a problem with them if they're actually doing that.
Yeah, they're not actually doing that. I think what happened is with Bono, and maybe to a certain extent Sting, is they had this big concert when we were a kid. It was called Live Aid.
Yeah.
Remember they had that Live Aid?
Yeah, 85 that was.
And then they had
I remember
another
watching
one,
a lot of it.
And then they had another one where they raised a bunch of money. And a couple of those dudes, Bono being one of them, realized that you could steal a lot of money through charities. Then all of a sudden they became charity fucking whores. you only have to give like 1% of the money that you raise to this supposed cause. I saw some shit where they actually tracked how much money Bono got for raising that money and how much actually went to this fucking African countries. Basically nothing went to those African countries. It all went to him and his friends and fucking backers, and it's corrupt.
That's another thing. It's like, don't be shitty about it. Don't be shitty about it.
Right, and it's a money laundering operation. You got crooked friends that need to launder money, so you put it into this charity to fucking launder it, and then you send it back to them through the fucking back door or turn it into tax write-offs. There's all kinds of things with their lawyers that they can do. It was all a fucking scam. Little starving kids in Africa didn't get any of that money. They'd raise fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, and maybe the 100,000 would show up over there. You know, it was a joke.
Yeah, John Smith said Bono complains about rich people's greed, but never paid a penny in tax. Yeah, that's another thing.
And those dudes fucking own fucking mansions all over the fucking world and yachts and shit. They're just fucking filthy rich. I don't know if they're as rich as they used to be, because a lot of those types of guys blow through money quickly. You know, but
which is probably why they need to keep making it. Because to be honest, I can't even imagine like being as rich as Bono. I don't even like. It's like, how the fuck would you have enough hours in the day to like even spend that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Look, there are some cool ways to fucking grift money and to be a crook. All right, and while you're a star, and the king of those motherfuckers was David motherfucking Bowie. Okay. He got involved in two of the most corrupt fucking businesses you can. Art is all about money laundering, okay, and fucking real estate, okay. But he was an honest crook. He's helping his friends with the fucking money laundering and fucking buying properties. That's just the way you do it. You're not.
Well, and he wasn't like.
He's not telling everybody he's a sanctimonious.
Right. That's what I mean. He wasn't he didn't have any illusions about coming out and saying, "Oh, I'm giving all this money to like starving children," or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
That's where the problem arises.
Art galleries are more about laundering money.
I mean, if he just like says, "Hey, I invest in art and real estate," that's what he's doing. I mean, essentially. Yeah, so it's just like doing. No one's gonna. He's not like lying about.
He's not lying about what he's doing.
What he's doing.
So in my mind, I don't know Bowie. I just know his work, and I fucking measure him as a man. I think he was a good man, and I think he was an excellent businessman. And everybody said he was very charming. He was good to have around. He was. In his day, he was evidently the most wealthy musical performer.
I think he was for a time. Wealthy. I mean, he might have been second to like Paul McCartney or somebody like that, but he was definitely up there.
The most. He was supposed to be the most. The thing is you got to look at the fine print. His money was not made in music. The music ended up being basically a side project. That was like his vanity project eventually. The money was all being made in real estate. And he was evidently the richest one. And Michael Jackson underneath him, but under a different definition. Michael Jackson's money was actually coming from record sales and tourings. So it's very different. Not Bowie. Bowie was coming from real estate. He was fucking rich. Very rich. Bowie was a gangster, basically. Basically, he's a gangster. That's fucking awesome when you think of it that way. Okay. And I imagine he had really good legal teams to help him to invest and to do all this. Usually these guys don't do it themselves per se. They have a good team, firms help them show what to do with their money and to make decisions. So they just keep running it and running it and running it. He had a lot of money. He owned a lot of properties at one time, but he was sold a lot of properties too. And a lot of it had to do with Better Homes and Gardens. A lot of people don't know this, but he had his tentacles into different parts of the media, and he had friends that ran Better Homes and Gardens. So they'd do these big fucking layouts on these fucking exotic homes down in Borneo on these islands and shit. Little did they know that was David Bowie's house. It was one of his he was on.
Yeah.
And there would be all kinds of kickbacks, and for a while, fucking Better Homes and Gardens, its job was to sell David Bowie's real estate. That's power. Okay?
Yeah.
That's power. And he knew how to play the cards. He was the gayest straight man in the fucking world. All right? He was straight. He was a closeted heterosexual. But he got to the fucking top by having so many gay friends that were fucking liked his music and his product, and he knew how to charm very wealthy gay men, you know, and that's where it began, and it snowballed from that, you know what I mean? Which I can understand it. If you're a rich gay guy and you like David Bowie's music, you want that to go more mainstream, you're going to help fund these projects to bring this, you know, to fruition. And then it starts snowballing, you know. Some people have called that like the gay mafia, which I'm sure that exists. I know that exists. There's like a gay mafia. But that's just things that just look like mafias. When you have scenes and people fucking helping and, you know.
Yeah, that it kind of gives you a certain like thing to say mafia, but
like
that doesn't
like
really
it's
no, it's just like a bunch of people that know each other. It's like a scene, like you said,
yeah.
which there's nothing nefarious about that necessarily.
And he was, in the day they would say, you know, well, that was kind of gay, you know. Nowadays he was more kind of like you would call like gender non-binary or gender bending. What would be
gender fluid?
Gender fluid. That's probably. But he was like a gender fluid. That's what you'd call it today.
Which I think is kind of like, well, I think that's why his legacy has endured for such a long time. He was like pretty much. He was such a chameleon that he could be everything to everyone.
Well, he was not a musician, and he would never claim to be a musician. He didn't like being called a musician. He was an entertainer. All right, and he was a great entertainer. He was an entertainer along the lines of fucking, Frank Sinatra, or but he was.
Well, I mean, he was an artist.
He was
I mean, just a general artist, and his and performance was his art form.
And what he really wanted to be was an actor. So his art was kind of a medium for his acting skills. So that's why whenever he comes out with a new album, he's gonna bring a new character, the Thin White Duke, or he's gonna bring in fucking Ziggy Stardust, or he's gonna it's a different character, or Major Tom, so he was multimedia, he was doing everything. So he's way ahead of his time. Do with a limited medium of the day.
Yeah.
Very
it
limited.
was very cross-promotion because he was like a Renaissance man. He could do a lot of different things, and he was interested in a lot of different things. So he was interested in the way you could cross-pollinate music with movies and performance.
Video,
and
performance and live.
Right.
You're right.
So
he was,
like you said, very ahead of his time.
Way ahead of his time.
Because he really was really had his finger on the pulse of that shit going.
Yeah. And he knew how to be just subversive enough to get away with something. He was real,
but not quite subversive enough that was going to get him into like trouble, right?
Yeah. He never really
which is that's a very hard balance to walk, actually.
Because he's trying to keep himself in the mainstream. See, so you push it too hard, and then now all of a sudden you can't be in the mainstream anymore. But
then if you push it too far in the other direction, then you're going to be lame, and you're going to lose all your hardcore fans too.
He was very much a promotional genius, a genius of fucking concept. One of the greatest things ever to come out of England, Bowie.
Yeah, across many artistic media, not just music.
Yeah.
Although I kind of feel like music was probably where he had the greatest influence, but
we did a lot of stuff out in the music scene that you wouldn't know about. Like he backed a lot of fucking acts and a lot of artists. He backed fucking Bauhaus.
Yeah.
Bauhaus was Bowie's favorite band for a while. That's really kind of why fucking Bauhaus kind of.
Because holy shit, did they love
Hunger and shit?
Did they love Bowie? Yeah. Ben asked what we thought of Absolute Beginners. I remember seeing it and not loving it, but I haven't seen it for a very, very long time, so I really need to rewatch it. Probably my favorite Bowie movies. I love The Hunger, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen this one, but it's called The Linguini Incident.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
With Bowie and Rosanna Arquette.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember
liking it.
I remember really, really liking it.
Yeah, I remember liking it.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I saw it a bunch of times back in the day. I used to have it on VHS.
When Bowie passed, they played nothing but Bowie at the club. After he passed, it was kind of a sad day. But Bowie went out.
Man, everybody was crying.
Bowie went out on a strong note. A whole fucking great career with a great body of material across different fucking mediums. He died strong. Died making fucking videos. died making videos about his upcoming death with Dark Star and all that, or Black Star, excuse me. And no, he went out doing. You really couldn't ask for a better way to go out. Yeah, cancer is a bad way to go. But he went out being the artist that he was. He didn't mope about it. He said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do some death videos. I'm going back to the fucking black star in the center of the earth. Gonna go back with Major Tom waiting for me over there." You know, just the videos are fucking great.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He
if you're
leaned into it.
Yeah, I mean that kind of mindset. It's like you probably get to a point where like, what else can you do?
Right.
One and like two, so you might as well right. So you kind of get to a point where you just kind of accept it, and you're like, well,
died of cancer. The motherfucker still looked good.
Yeah,
still looked good for an old dude dying of cancer. I mean, he was puffy, but fucking, he was dying.
Yeah.
True. It's wild. It's wild.
John Smith said people forget Mick Jagger was an actor too. He was amazing in performance. Yeah, he was good in that.
He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still
pretty
alive.
much playing Mick Jagger. He was in Ned Kelly too. Was he not? He played Ned Kelly. We did a show about Ned Kelly like not too long ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. John Smith also said John Lennon was worth $800 million in 1980 when he got. That's when he got shot, right? In 1980.
Yeah, I don't know how he was making his money. Probably making his money off fucking record residuals and stuff.
Well, like I said, a lot of
Those
musicians.
guys,
Well, and Paul McCartney and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking of before. Is that a lot of musicians that had a lot of staying power and still stayed rich were because they invested their money into other things. Yeah. They didn't just like blow it all on like coke and hookers.
Yeah, they had to. A lot of them just did shit like buy restaurants. That's one of the things that I heard. A lot of them did that. A lot of the metal guys bought restaurants. Fucking bad business to buy if you don't know.
I was just gonna say it's like
they would do that. Yeah.
I mean, haven't they ever seen Kitchen Nightmares?
They didn't know back then.
Restaurants are probably one of the worst businesses to buy if you're thinking of investing in a business. Yeah. But the thing about restaurants that's crazy is that everybody thinks they can run one, but very few people can run one successfully. Yeah. And like, what is it? 80% of them like go out of business like in the first year, some ridiculous number.
Never even worked in the dish pit washing dishes. Never.
I mean, it's different if you were a chef.
Never
or you
even been a line cook.
Right.
And you're gonna fucking run a restaurant.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. Spoiler alert, no, you're not.
No. You have to know a kitchen inside and out before you can run a business. Or you'll never know if a fucking cook is lying to you. You'll never know if a cook is good or bad. You won't know how to expect a cook's work. Fucking there's a lot of shit that you
and the thing about it is that even if you're a chef, even if you've worked in kitchens all your life, a lot of those motherfuckers open restaurants and some of those fail too.
Well, a lot of them are fucking trying to fucking punch above their weight. They want to be these fucking fancy fucking chefs instead of shutting the fuck up and just making a hamburger. Okay? That has a lot to do with it. Trying to be the star of the show. I'm a great cook, so I'm going to fucking make this fantastic food even though my local clientele can't afford it. And even though they don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. Fucking, you have to... you can get away with that in some markets, sure. Like, because there's a lot of successful restaurants like that. But, it depends on where you open the shit. Yeah. You gotta, like,
that was like Gordon Ramsay going to that one dude, fucking, he's selling all this fucking bullshit, artsy-fartsy fucking food. And he goes, no, man, fish and chips. Yeah. He goes, I don't want to do that. Fish and chips everywhere. He goes, yeah. And then he had that dude, was it Tate? Ruby Tate?
That's right. Yeah, that was one of the British ones.
Yeah, and he fucking cleared all that fucking bullshit out of there and turned it into a real Spartan-looking.
That was the one that had the modern art with the panties, with the crusty panties on there. Yeah, that's right.
He cleared all that shit out, painted it white, so it looked like a fucking just a Stark hotel or a Stark not hotel, like a Stark fucking hospital, and just sold fucking real good fish and chips, and the place was fucking packed, making all kinds of money because it's just fish and chips. People know what fish and chips are. And they'll come in and buy some fish and chips.
I mean, the thing about it is that I feel like nowadays, since more people are foodies and more people are more familiar with the stuff, so you can get away with a lot more. But I still kind of feel like your best bet is to focus on a little bit of more of a niche market. Don't have a huge menu, but just be the fucking best at that. You know what I mean? It's like, if we're going to do tacos, we're going to do tacos, but like a slight spin on them, but still recognizable tacos. But we're going to make the best fucking tacos that you ever had. And that's it.
Here in Florida, we got food trucks. They changed some of the laws to where the food trucks can't go downtown, which I don't really agree with that.
No, I don't either.
I think a food truck should be able to go where the fuck it wants to go.
Well, within reason, as long as it's not blocking traffic and shit.
They had one, it was called fucking 554.
What was that called? 5,000 Fahrenheit or something like that.
Fahrenheit,
it was a pizza truck.
It's a fucking big old black pizza truck.
Yeah, we used to have it around the corner from our house sometimes.
It would show up with a fucking huge kiln in the back of there with fucking super hot fucking pizza oven. And every time that fucking pizza truck showed up, there's a fucking line. There's like 60 people waiting to get pizza. Because the pizza was fucking good. Real good.
Well, shit, for a long time, when they still had food trucks in downtown Orlando, one of the most popular ones was that fucking cupcake truck.
The cupcake truck.
And honestly, people
were asking where the cupcake truck was.
Because, they had a Facebook page, and they had all their pages where they told you where they were going to be. Like, because they'd be... Every day, they would only have 4 different cupcakes. Yeah. Like, they had 2 flavors that I think were, like, all the time, just like chocolate and vanilla. And then every day, they would have 2 different ones.
And it was like crazy shit. They'd show the cupcake. They'd show pictures of it. They'd be posting it up on Facebook, showing what the cupcake is. And you have this fucking beautiful black chocolate-looking cupcake with green frosting on it and a thing. And then a fucking half a damn Snicker bar stuck on the top of it. And just with, like, it had candy on it.
Yeah.
Candy bars on the damn... And it was just... And it was pretty, man. Real pretty. And I never had one, but everybody said that no. It was good.
Told you.
And that there was stuff in the cake. I think there was candy in the cake too. And they said it was just like a hypoglycemic attack if you ate that.
Well, like I said, they would come up with... They had a couple flavors that were like all the time. You could always get them, but then like they would have a couple that they would switch out from day to day. So you never really knew. Like today, we're gonna do like some like coconut caramel or something like that. So they would do something different like every single day. So it was always different. So it would kind of like encourage people to like come back every day and see what the different thing was gonna be. But I told you at fucking Disney Springs, aka Downtown Disney is what it used to be called, but it's called Disney Springs now. They have that fucking cookie shop there that has a fucking 5-hour waiting list.
Yeah.
People come there. Like I said, the only reason I got a cookie in there was because my sister and brothers had put in the line like hours before I got there. And by the time I got there, like we waited around for an hour or two, like doing other shit. And then finally, like our turn came and they called us and we went into the cookie shop. But like after we left, they said, oh yeah, the line is 5 hours long now, like for the cookie shop. Gideon's Bakehouse, it's called. And it's kind of like... I didn't want to say it was like, it's not Harry Potter themed, but it's like Tim Burton-y looking. It's like you can't eat in there. It's just like really small, but it looks like an old like Gothic library in there. But basically you just go in and there's like a little line, like probably only 10 people can go in there at a time. All they have is cookies, cake, and coffee. That's it. And they have like, I think 4 different cookie flavors that they have all the time, and then seasonally they have 2 different ones, or 2 or 4 different ones.
Oracle's talking about how good that barbecue truck is in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got good barbecue trucks here too. Fucking Florida and Texas probably the same kind of situation where because of the weather and just the way everything's laid out, and probably the laws, trucks. Those trucks are fucking good. And when you think of, maybe people that haven't seen it, they would think pizza truck. That's got to be like just some old fucking dirty ass truck. No,
not anymore.
No, the truck looks like a beautiful tour bus, black with big fucking huge graphics on it. Fucking pizza and it was beautiful.
Well, food trucks are a big thing because
restaurant.
Well, because I kind of feel like, and this is going back probably like 10, 20 years at this point, like in the whole food scene, is that food trucks are a good way to, I don't think they're as trendy as they used to be, but they're a really good way to get into the market because there's not a lot of investment. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's expensive. You have to buy a truck and kit it out and everything like that. But if you have like a really good concept and you have like a really good area, it's a lot cheaper to run. And if you have something that really resonates with people, then you can make quite a bit of money on that.
The main advantage is your moving location.
Yeah.
You're not fucking stuck in one location. If it gets dead, you can fucking pick the fucking restaurant up.
And if there's a special event, like in the
are.
town, like if it's a holiday and they're having
Yeah.
like a street fair or something like that, obviously you can like go over there and get that spot.
You're constantly moving to where the action is. Now, in downtown Orlando, the restaurants got fucking pissed and they fucking lobbied to make sure that no food trucks.
Because they didn't want the competition.
Because they were paying for rent and then they were getting their asses beat by the damn food trucks.
And I'm like, we'll make your food better, bitch.
Well, the way I'm thinking is this. I'm kind of a laissez-faire capitalist in that way. Well, then that means restaurants aren't that good.
That's what I'm saying. If the food trucks were beating that.
Right. Maybe the future is food trucks. You know. Yeah, you can have restaurants, but don't fucking... See, downtown, the restaurants that were there were kind of second-rate pizza parlors and second-rate taco shops that were open at night serving to the bar crowd.
So it was mostly like drunk people.
Mostly drunk people. You know
Which
what I mean?
they were good.
They were good, but
I mean, the pizza's good, the tacos are good, but it's like you're drunk, so pretty much like anything is good.
What would be better is not to have those restaurants there. People don't need those to survive. They got grocery stores and shit. You have fucking another store there, like fucking, you know, CBD shop or some bullshit like that. And then 4 or 5 fucking trucks running around downtown.
with different
different shit selling to everybody. The future might have been in trucks.
I would love a breakfast food truck because, like I said, when I'm drunk, I always wanted breakfast food, and it always bummed me out that there wasn't a breakfast, like an all-night breakfast place in downtown, or at least like not anywhere walkable, like from where the club used to be. There is a pizza place which has been there since I was a kid, and the pizza's good. I mean, it's not great, but it's good. And then there was, for a time, there was that taco place. I don't even know if that's there anymore. And then for a time, there was a Chinese place that was okay. We ate there a couple of times.
I would have a breakfast truck that did nothing but just muffins and biscuits, like the sandwiches, like McMuffin sandwiches and the biscuit sandwiches.
Like a breakfast sandwich truck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great idea because
just that.
Yeah,
Egg McMuffins,
it's portable
sausage
food.
McBiscuit, sausage.
They're easy to make. It's cheap.
Right.
And who doesn't love breakfast sandwiches?
And you can walk
Everybody
away
loves
with
breakfast sandwiches.
And you can say, well, I like an omelet. I say, have an omelet McMuffin.
Yeah, put an omelet
Make an omelet, cut it in half, stack the 2 halves on top of each other.
Put it in a fucking, like a muffin. Or in a pita or some shit.
There you go.
Or on a burrito. I don't know.
Omelet McMuffin. You can't say McMuffin. You can't say Mick. You just got to say, you might be able to say Mick. How could they prove it? I don't know. Is McMuffin trade?
They would sue you.
Yeah, okay. I would call it Mick with M-I-C muffin.
They would probably still sue you. Too close. Well, they have a case, like if they think that like somebody could legitimately like confuse the shit for the real thing, then they can totally sue you, and they'd probably win. Yeah, because they have like deeper pockets than you have. Well, didn't McDonald's? Wasn't there a case? This was a while back now, but wasn't there a case where they sued a little restaurant in Scotland that was called McDonald's, and they actually like called it McDonald's because that was their name.
Dude's name, yeah.
And I don't even think I don't remember, but I don't even think they had the same kind of food as McDonald's. Maybe they did. But yeah, McDonald's sued them.
Oracle's saying the Egg McMuffin was a fast food version of the fucking...
It's Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict,
yeah,
it is.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, I loved Eggs Benedict. I like Eggs Rockefeller, too. Have you had that? You ever had Eggs Rockefeller? It's like an Egg McMuffin, but it had lox and it had fucking spinach.
Yeah, see, I could eat that. I don't think I've ever had it, but it sounds
pretty good. It's almost time for us to fucking...
Oracle says this is a very foodie town, so food trucks need to be good to survive.
They're all good here.
I kind of feel like nowadays, you really can't slack because there's so much. Like I said, nobody is... It's not like the 70s where people just eat whatever.
No.
You know what I mean? Everybody is a lot more savvy about that shit nowadays. So it's like if your food's shitty, then like, you know, nobody's gonna
even in the 80s,
shit.
People ate whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess that
I would go up
80s.
to Michigan, and some of the Italian restaurants in Michigan were these fucking Italian-y, stodgy ass Italian, and all the food tastes the same, even though they were independently owned, is because they all bought from the same fucking suppliers.
Yeah, it was usually Cisco
or saying
U.S. Food Service.
They all tasted exactly.
My ex-husband
the
used to work
same.
for U.S. Food Service.
It's that same fucking pizza, the same stromboli, the same fucking. It was all the fucking same. Look, let's go ahead and end the show, Jen, and I'll make us something to eat. I'm fucking starving. We've been on for more than 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours and 34 minutes.
It's time. We can run it.
All right. So hopefully you had a good time hanging out with us this Friday night, this Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody has a good holiday. If you're celebrating, if you're traveling or something like that, please be safe and have a good time. We might come on Christmas Day and talk about a Christmas horror movie. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll announce it probably if we decide we're going to come on. So if anybody wants to hang out with us on Christmas Day evening. So we'll see you guys maybe on Sunday. If not, we'll see you on Monday for the haunting show. So good night and have a good one.
Start boiling some